ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're doing well. Happy flipping Monday to you. Let's make sure we're all systems go here, and we'll start going over what we're meant to go over today, which is some wild stuff. Crazy few days in the Grummzosphere, whatever the fuck you call it. And I'll say hey to everyone in the chat. Hey, Vincent. Hey, Debbie. All good points. I'll go through a little bit of the chat. Straight Life of Dio Brando. Looks like Grummz by No Comes. Yeah. Kiwi Farms is fuming. No doubt. No doubt. Well, let me make sure. Got everything set up here. You can hear me all right. Life is good. Might not be able to read through it on Kiwi Farms. What they... Ooh. Have to take a look at that. When it's archived, you can't deny it. Yeah. Life is stranger than fiction. Is Debbie here? We get enough super chats tonight, man. I'll make Debbie happen. I'm just kidding. Hey, you Cotton. How you doing, buddy? Doing good, man. Enjoying Shadows. I'm about to jump into Atomfall as well. And why did he have to reveal his mom was a Playboy bunny? For real. That's something to keep close to yourself. Hey, Simon. How you doing, buddy? Audio is a bit low. I should be able to fix that. Let me know if this... How's this? This ain't too high, is it? I can also move the mic a little bit. I just don't want to block my, view. Or you got a poster over it. Yeah, there's some Freudian stuff that could happen there. Comes Debbie is enough. We'll take a look at that, too. So what I'd like to do tonight is we'll look at the video that was put out by MLYP that's currently at almost 300k views. That's crazy. The largest video I had on Grummz, I think, is at 15,000 views. And that's not as a YouTuber, that's not my biggest video. I've got videos over 100,000, maybe 200,000, I can't remember. But I will let you know, and I'd be happy to show you. I have multiple videos that have loads of views that I own listed, and you know why? Because they were money glitches, and I didn't think they were relevant anymore because of updates to the game. And I probably made a dumb financial decision, but I just wanted to be half of a good dude. Tarek says, you're sorry, Grummz is what? Well, in the broadest sense, he's a former sex worker. In a broad sense. We'll talk about that. Recently got Shadows, and you don't know what all the hate behind it is? Because it is fun to play. Yeah, the combat's sick. Actually, it's really good. He also... mum gooning. The connections are so obvious you can't deny. No. It's strange about his mum being marked as the CEO. Yeah, would you want a porn business with your ma? That shit would be wild. Actually, pretty insane. All right, so we'll give this a start here. What I am going to do is I'm going to fast forward a little bit. So just because it's quite long, the first 13 minutes are... It's like a legal disclosure saying, you know what, let's watch it. Because I want to get a good 360, and I have watched it. But it's a lot to take in. Keeping it in the family, yeah. It'd be so awkward. This is the work of multiple people. I had no part in this.
One of the leading thought lords of the reactionary right wing is more of a freak.
Am I not plugged in
here? Anyone can
oh my gosh, you ever do this?
This all comes with receipts. This is all facts. This is all quite legally safe for me to talk about. This is all public record. I'm getting this out of the way quickly because I know the person I'm going to be talking about is the kind of person to scream that he's being doxxed, cancelled, and threaten lawyers. This all started from a historic data breach, which isn't actually quite a safe way to get into this, but when I corroborated it with other sources, I found out that this was just sitting out in the open for anyone to find who knew exactly where to look for a name, a registered company. And then you start pulling on a string and pulling on another string and another string, and you find out that this goes deeper than you would think. Don't worry, Mark. I'm not going to show any more than I have to.
I will pause for a second. Gazing, I think it is important to note that, because people are like, the people that you would expect that always defend Grummz, you know, the full-throaters, you know, you get your smashes. Some of them haven't said anything. The ones that don't are just, not saying a word about it. You know, a couple of at least one of the guys from Geeks and Gamers, you know, the underlings like 8-Bit Eric, Jay Viper, all those same guys, just full-throating, man, full-throating. But don't worry, though. They say, Grummz, you need to finish your game. Which is so funny. They're like, Man, I'm not defending Grummz. He needs to finish his game, and then they defend him for like 15 minutes. The Orbiters, yeah, they cried docs, right? Man, if I say docs, watch out. Jesus, man, I have the internet coming after me. Yeah, they didn't watch the video. That yellow flash stream was wild. Let's keep going.
To you and your family will not be identified. This is not doxing in a meaningful sense that you're going to talk about. This is just you and me having a conversation. Everyone else is along for the ride. By the way, don't reuse passwords for shit like this, especially if you're trying to make two separate personas with different names that you're going to LARP as for 20 plus years. If you're a 40-year-old man at the time and 60 plus year old now, you've done that. I can establish that. But don't. That's an advice for anyone else looking to start up a separate online persona in the future. Use a completely separate email with a completely separate password. It might actually prevent this. Don't use the same lawyers either, actually. The same lawyers to register your company. There's so many steps that this guy has failed at to protect himself, and it's just all come unraveled with publicly accessible information. Also, don't use your real name to register these emails. Your real name's out there on this historical Who Is information. When you update this information, it doesn't go away, it's there, it's stored. The internet never forgets is the phrase I summarize up a lot. The internet never forgets, the internet will never let go, the internet remembers everything that you have done, everything that you've purchased, everything that you have registered. Somewhere deep down until that drive stops spinning, the internet will know, and now we have found it. Some of this, disgusting onus defenders are going to immediately reject the video based on how many subscribers and followers I have, and I don't care. I am a podcaster, I have a normal job. Consider getting one of those before you start trying to swing at me. Most of you are on Twitter for 15 hours a day arguing over whether Yasuke is too woke. Statistically, you don't know me. I know this, you know this, we know this. By the time this finishes, you're going to know me, and that's fine. It's nice to meet you. My name's MLYP. Pause the video, grab a drink. We're going to be here for a while. I want you walking away from this video bemused at the idea that there's a 60-year-old man out there who has a maid outfit-wearing VTuber, as his public-facing persona, who abuses his parents' goodwill to front up LLC companies so that he can avoid California taxation law, while also trying to drive gamer culture further to the right because he thinks things are just a little too woke for him these days, and his little 60-year-old brain can't handle it. There's a reason I'm showing my face on camera today. There's a reason that I'm not hiding behind an avatar like I normally do. I am better than him. This is just one of the ways. I'm better than him in every way that fucking matters, to be honest. Like on a moral level, on a conceptual level, on a how I earn my money level. I am better than this man. And I don't care that you think otherwise. I know this in my belief system, and his, I am better. I am going to keep saying that this is very findable information. I am going to keep saying that this is all legally accessible information. This is not being doxxed, this is not being cancelled. I'm going to address that again and again just to hammer the point home, because the target of this video is going to come with lawyers, or this target of this video is going to come and try and whip up a screaming mob that he's been cancelled and send a harassment campaign my way and other people's way. This is part of what he does. None of this is secret information that you are legally allowed privacy over. This is part of public California state record. I will not be revealing addresses, I will not be revealing full emails. I can assure you they match, Mark. You are just going to have to trust me. You know it, I know it, and everyone else will know it. The fact that you're out there deleting things rapidly when you got a hint that people knew about this kind of proves that it's you. And that's what actually matters deep down. In your bones, you know what's about to come out. These same emails that I'm referring to that were in that data breach earlier have been publicly posted by you and multiple.
We'll pause a little earlier to talk about the legal stuff. Here's what I know, and you know what? To be honest, I don't know a lot about this stuff and how it relates to law. The information was found on something called the Pwn database, something I'm not incredibly familiar with, to be honest. And with that information, I believe they found all the other stuff, like all the stuff out in the open. So it wasn't using logging into anything, from what I understand. I'll be real with you. I still don't understand that part of it. I'm not gathering it was anything illegal. Just because the people that tend to say all these things are illegal have been really off from my previous experience. And it doesn't seem like it was a financial crime or anything like that. And all this information, if someone looked hard enough, they could find it. So y'all have, exactly, this guy's Australian or from New Zealand or somewhere. They wouldn't have jurisdiction. Same here, I'm in Canada. Yeah. And Vincent, you say the beginning's rather rough. I thought the same thing. But then I see this. Is it rough? I don't know. I don't know. And is this just a distraction from his own potential crimes? And he's been saying shit about me, too. Like, I'm involved with this, which is pretty funny. And the FBI wouldn't waste their time with this. They're not going to waste their time, I don't think, because they got mad. Where does the, anyone in the chat knows where the comments come around, like, the litigious nature of it? Because the way they explained how it was breaking a law didn't make sense to me. We can take a look at that, and like, I've got the Flashcast stuff ready to go, too, but...
multiple places across multiple whois records. That's a key and public-facing part of internet structure. That is not doxing. That is all right here when you check DNS and whois records. That will never go away. That is part of what you have put out into the internet. If I type your name into a specific search engine, I can see exactly what websites you've registered going all the way back to about 1996. There is very public LLC information with your family's name, and I'll get to why it's your family's name and not yours on these LLCs in due time. I haven't stolen any private information. I have not illegally accessed any information. This is a case of finding one little string of public information you have left out, and now the whole fucking house of cards is coming down on you. You are welcome to scream it's doxing. I will say this once again. This is publicly accessible information that you have posted on the internet and have left it out there for me to talk about. I'm leaning in to make a point because I want you odious little goblin of a man, to really beat this into a thick skull. This is the digital equivalent of a phone book. This is the digital equivalent of me picking up the yellow pages, which you are old enough to distinctly remember. I know that you're 60 plus years old, and noticing that two separate people have the exact same phone number and going, wonder what that's about. Asking around and realizing that those two people are the same person. They've just got two names for some reason. I wonder why that is. I really want you to understand that we know. You've gone around to try and delete everything. You are rapidly deleting every public piece of this persona. It's been archived. We've got it saved.
That was true. Mark had admitted that because, well, he didn't want that to come out, I guess, is what he said. It's kind of quiet. I can, thank you for the note. I'll turn it up a bit. And happy flippin' Monday. I hope it's going good. And how you doing, Jason?
You're good. This video will be going up in places other than YouTube. I am under no illusions that you're not going to try and get this taken down through some kind of spurious DMCA claim or something similar. The internet will never forget. It will be elsewhere. It will be publicly disseminated. People will know. I've also consulted with a lawyer. We're good. We're in the clear, legally. Why don't I just get to the point instead of being cryptic? Now I have to sit back because Mark Kern, aka Grummz, has been coasting on the success of his one or two actual highlights of his career. The rest is a sad tale of an old man desperately clinging to relevance. He's worked as an associate producer on StarCraft, the producer on Diablo 2, and was a team lead in World of Warcraft. I'm not going to dispute or deny the fact that he worked on these titles. That's documented. He's in the credits. I find it fascinating that he's barely ever mentioned by former co-workers in a positive light, and that's fascinating, isn't it? Fascinating to think about. Since leaving Blizzard, he has been coasting on that success and to build clout in the reactionary online space, joining Gamergate 1 before leaving because he was too transphobic at the time. He continued coasting off the back of this and used the petition to bring classic WoW back and use that to leverage it into even more clout. That's another one of his big career highlights. He organizes harassment campaigns against developers that he thinks are doing things a little too wokely, and by a little too wokely, I mean doing it while being too much of a woman or being maybe too brown for his tastes. I keep saying he's coasting, and he's fucking coasting. Our boy Mark Edward Kern has been nothing but a failure since leaving Blizzard Entertainment in 2005, reduced to tweeting 100 times a day that Assassin's Creed.
I don't think I've seen a man with this much hate in his heart towards somebody. Man, I think, do the youth say it's like serving cunt? Is he serving cunt right now? Is that what serving cunt is? If there's cunt to be served, he is serving it.
Creed Shadows is too woke because they've taken a historical figure and embellished certain portions of their life in a game that's never been about historical accuracy to begin with. He keeps saying that he's winning the war on the woke mind virus, and this is the year that we will actually defeat wokeness in video games. All the while, he's just beating his meat over Eve from Stellar Blade. He's never actually played Stellar Blade, by the way. Before you try and chime in about Assassin's Creed, by the way, your parents don't love you. It's a genuinely fun and interesting fact that since leaving Blizzard, Mark Kern has never released a successful game. In 2005, he co-founded a studio called Red 5 with 3 other former Blizzard employees. He played a significant role in that development and was made CEO in 2008. If you know anything about Mark, if you've heard of like a little bit of him before, you will understand that he has allegations of overspending and promotional campaigns for Firefall. You've heard of the Firefall bus? That was made by West Coast Customs. You know what West Coast Customs is, you've been online. That shit cost $3 million. He purchased not 1, not 2, but 3. Red Epic Dragons for his Red 5 Studios. This is a video production arm that's completely unnecessary for a video game developer, and my rough calculation is that including inflation, that is 40 to 50 grand per camera in modern day money. 150 grand on cameras that are not fucking needed. You don't need to shoot 4K footage in 2013 to document your video game. Red 5 employees describe Mark Kern as being prone to extended absences and having erratic, impulsive, and very disruptive leadership styles. Anyway, Firefall was an absolute flop because Mark Kern doesn't actually know how to make games at all. I don't think it's particularly controversial to hold the opinion that World of Warcraft succeeded despite this guy and all the time he did spend on his little side projects. Again, I have receipts for this. Anyway, in 2013, Mark was removed as CEO from Red 5 by the board of directors of the company. Let's start the scamming people out of their money counter, shall we? Kern founded the studio MEK Entertainment in 2014. He raised $1 million in seed funding for an Oculus Rift MMO. Guess what happened? You've got 3 attempts. Correct, he ran with the money. The game never existed. You know what did exist is a tax bill from the state of California for over $250,000 for 3 years that he never paid his taxes, and now they have a publicly viewable lien against him for this. This didn't stop him from founding another company called Grift Labs. He's not the owner on paper though. That's actually a completely different family member, which I will get to. Mark, or whatever little pervert foot soldier of his that's watching this is all publicly accessible information from the Secretary of State in California. This is all part of the Chamber of Commerce. This is all public register that will be kept on file until long after you are dust. Anyway, with Grift Lab now up and running, he obviously got the itch again, and in 2016, he started crowdfunding a game called Ember, a spiritual successor to Firefall. He can't let that one go. That is his baby. He did an interview with a YouTuber in 2024 claiming about 600K has been raised so far for Ember. Guess where that shit is?
Yeah.
It's dealing. There's no meaningful updates for any actual length of time. It's very haphazard. It's very obvious that he's neglecting this for his Twitter rants. It's a Discord purged of dissent and a subreddit full of people disappointed that he's gone down this absurd little culture war path. I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty weeds for hours explaining what an awful game this is. There's other YouTubers that have. It's on the screen, just look at it. Our boy is planning to fundraise more, and he's calling this just a vertical slice, and he wants to do a Kickstarter one day. I've seen more coherent games out of weekend-long game jams. It's not slanderous, libelous, or any other kind of word to say that this man, Mark Edward Kern, head developer of Grift Labs, is basically scamming people out of their money. It took him months to texture 3 models and give them each 3 frames of attack animation. There is no meaningful work being done on this game outside of reposting old AI-generated art, old commissioned art, and reposting old models that he had made 10 years ago. This man, all he does is log into the Discord, post, "This will be a great year for Ember," log off, start posting on Twitter while he deletes his old website and removes the ability to unsubscribe to long-suffering backers. There are people in there who are afraid that they're going to die before this game comes out, and they are desperate for just a taste of Firefall once again, and all he does is ignore them. You might be wondering, if this guy doesn't work on his game and all he does is post, again, it took him 6 months to texture a fucking model, what does he do? And he had other business ventures, and he had them for a very long time. What I have in my hands is, it's probably the most complete biography of Mark Edward Kern, aka Grummz, that you're ever going to get. So Mark isn't 100% into the game dev and culture war life. No, he has other side projects. There's objective proof of companies he has registered and deregistered, websites that he has worked on, money that he has taken from people for these other projects under other names, but it all comes back to him. Once again, this is publicly accessible information. When he found out people were looking for this, he has deleted the LinkedIn, Instagram, DeviantArt, Clips for Sale, Twitter account. Every public-facing piece of information that we can find has now been deleted. While you, Mark Edward Kern, were beating your meat raw over anime children's navels, we were finding out more about you than anyone should. Draw your blade, pervert. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
I will say, that's a pretty epic line. Draw your blade, pervert. And again, make sure to like the stream, otherwise Grummz will show up in your bedroom midnight and start spanking it. Just kidding. Hey, Dreylox. This video made you realize they named his company after his initials. You know what? I realized that in the last week or so, too, after going through all the stuff. And the machines he ride the game are named after him. Yeah, and Yucky is right. So, longer intro, but it worked. And I think one thing that really helped this video get successful was the timing. Mark forced to react to it on live stream. Not forced, but pretty much. Gunnar Namacon. Oh man, that shit's funny. Yo, Drev. So, this is where it starts getting into the meat of things. They explained that, they did consult a lawyer on this. I do know that. They did consult a lawyer to make sure what they were doing was above board. That lawyer says it is. Other people saying it's not. But one thing I have realized through the whole Smashgate stuff, yo, Deathmaster, how you doing, man? Is that breaking the law is not like black and white. It's all legal risk and, careful evaluations of the facts and people making a decision and things like that. So we'll see. Mark's like, I'm going to call the FBI. He was hammered. But we'll get a chance to see Mark reacting to some of this. We'll watch this and we'll go to some of Mark's reactions and other people's reactions. The full-throated reactions, which is funny. You could probably have a betting pool prior to this happening and be like, okay, which YouTubers are going to go full-throated defense and which ones are going to be like, no, this is really weird. The hype built up at the right time. Ubisoft ratioing Elon and Grummz. Yeah, Grummz was a hot item, I guess. We got some links in there too. Hey, it worked. Anything you want to ask kind of prior to going forward? They set the stage. This man is not a fan of Mark Kern. I thought if I had this information, how would I have approached it? I probably wouldn't have gone into the level of detail that they went into. But there are serious business concerns that impacted, because although Grummz said he stopped before Ember, there's some contention around that. And there's a whole timeline and everything. Full-throated defense of Gunnar Nomicon. Yeah, some of this stuff's really kind of, it's weird, it's gross. And the thing that's wild, though, is numerous companies like Red 5, MEK, he was doing this during this time. Some of the reports from Red 5 were that he was absent from the office a whole lot. Was the dude out filming porn? It's wild. His responses are wild, too. Talks about his mother being cool with it.
To what I'm calling the...
Oh, yeah, every post he's getting ratioed.
Gunnar Nomicon. Now, this isn't a magic book full of spells you can only cast one-handed. This is a documentation of Mark Edward Kern, the first in a series of some of the worst onanists, some of the worst masturbators in the gaming sphere, who are trying to mold and manipulate gaming culture to return to a time when they were 12 years old and all they had in life to look forward to is extra cheese sticks and a woman in a bikini. It will become pretty obvious that these men just think with their erections. People forget that hating is an inherently valuable form of critical thinking. I have learned tens of thousands of facts via hating. If you are truly hating, you will take all the time you need to learn everything about the subject you are hating on just to hate better, deeper, efficiently, effectively. This is a law of nature. This is a law of hating. The only thing that stopped this from coming out earlier is no one has been motivated enough to pay a data aggregator $11, and there are multiple data aggregators that have this information just sitting out there in the open. The story here is that Grummz is a man who has aggressively pursued his personal interests at great cost to his family and his career. The biggest crime here is that anime babes with huge bazongas are his main interest. Actually, no, that's not the biggest crime, it's tax fraud. We'll get...
So, they're going to talk about the tax fraud and stuff, but one of the, I won't lie, it's hilarious. So, Grummz had the false rumor, and I never spread it, as, like, it, it wasn't really my thing, about, stealing the breast milk. Obviously, he didn't even work there during that time. But on the flip side, there's a lot of images with, like, milking, I believe it's called. Very, very odd. Oh, the Flashcast one is horrible. But I do want to get to some of his unhinged responses in it, because some of those things are really funny. So don't worry, we're not going to watch, like, the Flashcast, but we are going to go into it, find some of his, like, crazy responses, because they are hilarious, as he gets progressively drunk. Or it sounds like he does through the stream. Grummz shadowing. Grummz also foreshadowed with the porn game. He did.
Get there. All of these points are archived in the description with source links. In 1968, Grummz comes into the world. Mark Edward Kern. He is a former video game executive. 1992, he gets his bachelor's degree in cognitive science from the University of Rochester. He eventually gets his doctorate from Boston University School of Law with a specialization in IP. He goes on to found Qualia Games in Boston, developing a top-down 2D shooter called Crixer. This is with Blizzard's backing, and he loves the name Crixer. Crixer is eventually cancelled by Blizzard, they do pull the funding, and Qualia shuts down. There's not enough money to pay the payroll. Blizzard used this as a way to get some talent, and Mark is unfortunately the only one to take them up on that offer. He eventually moves on to a role at Blizzard. He serves as an associate producer for StarCraft, works on StarCraft 64 and Diablo 2 as a producer. He's in the credits. I'm not going to dispute the fact that he worked on these games. This is part of his career.
There's a question, or like, what a waste of a doctorate. For real, in intellectual property, but you lose your intellectual property's name to a parody game. That blows my mind. Like, your degrees, law degrees in that specific topic. Oh, people are, yeah. People will keep caving on shit. Can't imagine. This is part 1, by the way. They've got some other parts coming out, and that is wild.
March 27th, 2001, FoxyFighter.com is purchased by Mark Kern. Ignore the country of France. That is where Gandhi SAS is located. They're a French company. But Mark Kern is the registrant. Now, Mark Kern isn't a unique name, but there's later information that basically proves that this is him. Now, what is FoxyFighter.com? To put it as simply as possible, FoxyFighter.com is sexy catfight hentai. It is a website run by a persona called Debbie Chan, but Debbie Chan is Mark. And that's underselling it. He has, over the course of 20 plus years, collected a variety of live-action catfights, drawn hentai catfights, quite a bit of like run-of-the-mill porn. However, there are multiple stories where his persona, Debbie, violently sexually abuses women. It's been scrubbed at this.
I've got a chance to review some of the resources because I asked for them. And they're bad. They're real bad. The writing's real funny, though.
At this point, as soon as Grummz got a sniff that people were investigating this, he ripped down as much as he could. Unfortunately, we archived most of it. The email addresses that we found share passwords. When searching a pwn database, which is a database of dumped passwords and email addresses, we found a Foxy Fighter email sharing the same password as Mark Kern's email. Fascinating, huh? We also found this one.
Right. Ugh. Pretty. Ooh. So I did remember from the bit I did watch on Yellow Flash's stream, Mark's like denying that these are his. I mean, I don't think they're. Did they make a mistake, or are they his? I don't know. What's Mark gonna say? No, they're not mine? I mean, obviously, what else can he say? But yeah, look at them email addresses. That's... You can tell it's not Debbie, but a weird... Hold on here. Hey, Extra Zero. Tell it's not Debbie, but it's weird he claims to have a current wife. There's something really odd with his public records that needs digging. Yeah. It's a rabbit hole, man. Dudes like George Santos of gaming. There's like always some other controversy. Yeah... What defense? Yeah, he denied that this was his because they asked him about it on that live stream. I did see that. Because what else could he say? Yeah. I don't know if it's going to mention this, but it does mention in the Flashcast one. Another thing I remembered. This made me a little uncomfortable, and I don't know if it should have. So he mentioned that some of the porn was outsourced, like Latina catfights and Russian catfights. They would have a source in Russia. And they would outsource to, like, Latin America. And what's the best way I can say this? I think I'm slightly worried about outsourced stuff like that. That's very, like, bottom of the mill stuff. Like, if you say... it just makes me uncomfortable that some guys saying, okay, I have a Latina catfights thing. I'm going to go to this Russian or Mexican porn outsourcer to find my stuff. That's weird. I don't know if I can articulate it well, but it's weird. I love him saying it was 10 years ago, like banks cared. Yeah. You know what? Everyone says, I've heard a lot of YouTubers being like, oh, I can read people. A big part of my career has been just evaluating people. Are they ready for a job? What's their attitude like? Are they good fits? That was totally my job, just for people starting their employment. So I've had to hone that well and hone body language, people's responses. Interviewed piles of people. Mark's initial response to that sounded so defensive, and then his second response to that question extra zero being like, yeah, I keep them separate. You might not have context in the chat, but it was around tax stuff. I guess we'll get to that when we get to the Flashcast stuff. And yes, Demi, they were closed down due to changes in U.S. law, which might correspond to the Pornhub suit. Yeah, because these sites were closed down. Grummz says it wasn't because of U.S. law changes, but it happened at the same time because records were required. And Grummz said he kept all records, but I don't know. Would you trust a record from a Russian porn thing you outsourced in the early 2000s? I don't know. Blame the Iranians. Oh, hold on. Make sure I'm probably missing a number of chats. Did I see his defense of his mom being listed as the CEO? My mom was a Playboy bunny. Bros out here talking about how his mom is what's the song like? Grummzy's mom has got it going on. Grummzy's mom, can I come over after? No. Yeah, it's wild stuff. You've been in the tech sector for 15 years. He also said it's normal behavior for techies. No, it's not. You see people get fired for far lesser moonlighting. Yeah. CEOs, if you're... I've worked with numerous CEOs. I don't know any of them that were moonlighting like that. Maybe they were, but... not like this.
I'm just leaving that out there. Moving on. July 21st, 2001 is the earliest capture of foxyfighters.com. On February 28th, 2002, Debbie wins second place in the third Seeking Femfights story competition, so he is actively making this stuff. And on March 24th, 2003, we get RussianCatfights.com. This is another site owned by Mark. He confirms it on a Twitter post. March 22nd, 2004, we get an archive of Latina catfights. This is also owned by Mark. June 28, 2004, access to Foxy Fighter goes for about $10 a month. Posts are stories and drawn artwork. November 13, 2004, World of Warcraft releases. This is effectively the pinnacle of Mark's career. He's credited as team lead. He says he works on drafting the TOS and ULA and does licensing with China. He leaves Blizzard shortly afterwards. He says he's going to go and be with some family. So I don't blame him. That was a very hard process, even if he was apparently a bit of a shithead. Look, no one's spoken about him in a good light at Blizzard, really. Not in a way that I think a team lead should. In this role. Very shortly afterwards, him and a few other Blizzard employees found Red 5 Studios. So he obviously had a couple of friends who wanted to work with him, but he's not really mentioned in a lot of these retrospective books. It's real fascinating. June 15th, 2005, RussianCatfights.com is closed due to changes in US law. And on August 18th, 2005, LatinaCatfights.com is closed to the same changes. So I don't want to point out that this is anything egregiously sinister. This was a change that was required in the porn industry to have verified records of the performers. Before this law, those records were not kept. Blizzard in 2008 had some problems. People were stealing breast milk from the fridge. This is attributed to Mark. People call him the breast milk bandit. He wasn't working there at the time, and he's not the breast milk bandit. It's funny to think he is. Please keep doing it. It's very funny. But we found dozens of breast milk photos on foxyfighter.com, so smoke this fire, huh, Mark?
That's crazy. He's never beaten the breast milk allegations. I mean, people get their breast milk from different places, I guess. Some people get it from a fridge. Some people get it from art.
October 17th, 2008, as forum admin on freecatfights.com, Debbie recommends a Japanese breast milking series to another forum member and reveals that he owns LatinaCatfights.com. Now, you might notice that this is forum admin with a Batman avatar. This was scrubbed about a day ago. But this is him. April 23rd, 2009,
Wait, I want
Red
to go back
5
here.
lays
What's that say?
down dozens of breast milk photos on foxyfighter.com. So smoke this fire, huh, Mark? October 17th, 2008,
Okay, hold on.
as forum admin.
It's very tough to see. These fights are pretty hot. I love it when one girl is on all fours and the other is straddling her and reaching down to milk her tits. Yum. There are some Japanese videos that feature milking, such as the Big Bus series here. Will not feature this. Hard to tell which will. Also, the Brazilian site used to feature some of these is no longer selling in the USA. I had one done for my old site, Latina Catfights. Let's see if I can find it and post a segment to YouTube. Shit's wild. Shit's wild. If you're just joining, make sure to drop a like on the stream. Helps it get out to the algorithm. Appreciate y'all. Let's keep going.
Then on freecatfights.com, Debbie recommends a Japanese breast milking series to another forum member and reveals that he owned latinacatfights.com. Now, you might notice that this is forum admin with a Batman avatar. This was scrubbed about a day ago. But this is him.
No, Extra Zero. No, it was not.
April 23rd, 2009, Red 5 lays off 30 people. Reports of a studio purchase emerge. March 10th, 2010, that studio purchase comes through. A company called The Nine announces acquisition of Red 5 Studios, and Grummz becomes CEO. May 19th, 2010, Grummz buys a Leica S2 and a 70mm lens from OC Camera. Now, I bring this up because we match metadata from some of the live-action photos on Foxy Fighter to this exact camera and lens types that we know he owns. September 3rd, 2010, Red 5 announces Firefall at PAX. September 20th, 2011, he goes and advertises foxyfighter.com and freecatfights.com.
Oh, here's Foxy Fighter. Now, here's a funny thing, and Grummz will say in his video, and maybe it's true, but it's always tough to believe him. I don't know. Just from my experience, that he would contract writers and he would edit it. If I'm not mistaken, and I'd have to find the comments, it's on Reddit somewhere about, at Red 5, he would tell people he could write quality fiction and make them read it. I thought recently, I'm like, was it this? But based on reading Mark's stuff, this looks like Mark's writing, and this looks like it's being written by a dude. I'm a girl who loves a throwdown of any kind between two hot and sexy women. Writer, artist, and web mistress. I put together two great sites for my passion, foxyfighter.com and freecatfights.com, meow, which have grown to be the biggest sites for female wrestling on the web. On Foxy Fighter, I write and hire artists to help me create the hottest catfight and female wrestling and MMA stories on the web. We also have full catfight comics. The thing that's most upsetting to me about this is I'm a huge wrestling fan, and I've never really seen Mark tweet about wrestling. Like, I love wrestling. It's WrestleMania season, man. I'm pumped. Girl is right. Girl. Did they both fire the same person? Oh, I remember that, Vincent. Yeah. DI is what most people refer to when they say anti-woke, but yeah. I was just thinking that catalog. Great minds think freakily, I guess. How many dudes out there goon to his stuff thinking Debbie was a real girl, and now they know it's Mark Kern. Imagine being like, you know, I surfed the web. I used to be into anime porn and freecatfights.com, and then you find out it was Mark Kern the whole time. Mark Kern being a pivotal part of growing up. No, that sounded weird. Let's keep playing it.
On r/comics, which probably not the best place to do it, but doesn't even get a single piece of engagement. That's kind of sad. Come on, man, you're a better poster than this. Even I can admit that, but dog. March 7th, 2011, he asks for models to star in fighting videos, so he's starting to move into the live action space at this point. And March 21st, 2011, model Megan Renee posts, "I adore you, Mark," on his Model Mayhem profile.
So he was doing live films. Now, what he shared didn't sound hardcore, but he didn't share any of this until he was forced to, so it's tough to take 100% of what he says for something that's so wide and broad and so reputationally likely damaging too seriously. Ted Domain read a self-inserting fan fiction of actual women. It's so bad that it made you want to read 50 Shades of Grey to wash away from what you heard. That's awesome. what tweet did he delete? Gazing?
And that's his Model Mayhem profile, Studio Foxy Fighter. You see that little boxing glove image up the top right next to his profile? That one is an exact match to a camera lens I know he owns and a camera that he owns. Just a thought. October 5th, 2011, a Nigerian interview mentions Firefall will release soon. And he goes on to film a video of Randy Moore and Kimberly Jane. In January 18th, 2012, Red 5 skips E3 to protest SOPA. Mark is really big on hating SOPA, and he skips it and donates 50 grand, which was their E3 fund, to found the League for Gamers instead. League for Gamers is ostensibly a non-profit founded by Mark Kern. They style themselves as an advocacy group for video games, consumer-centric versus industry-focused. They represent the gamer. Red 5 paid this charity $50,000. He wired himself 50 grand from his slowly failing game studio, which I'm guessing was all that was left in the couch cushions at this point. Never logged the transaction with the state of California. This should be logged. It's not in the logs where we're checking. We can see other logs, but it's not there. He then waits for California to dissolve the non-profit, then started a for-profit Delaware Corp with the same name.
Yeah.
That's bad. Why was
that sounds real bad. I can't wait to see what his response was.
This allowed? Is this all above board tax-wise? I'm sure the California AG would love to know about this and the rest of your tax dodges. June 6, 2012, Grummz offers his opinion on the Leica S2 and Nikon D3S, mentions using them for the last 2 years.
A little background about the cameras. If you weren't aware, Red 5 also had a weird thing that just didn't feel like it should have been part of a game studio, especially if you haven't released a game yet and you've just been in like beta for like ever, which was a studio where they made like rap videos. They also made, hold on, let me see if I can find one. Let's bring it up here. 5 Studios? What was it called? I thought it was called Studio 5. Well, it did all the Firefall videos, so I should be able to find that. Hold on, Firefall channel. Yeah. Here, I'll bring this over here for a hot sec. Okay, so this was the studio. My theory, unsolicited theory, is that studio could have been used for things. Mark said he would reno resorts, but I just can't wrap my head around having a studio. You're the CEO of a company. You do porn business on the side and not using your high-tech studio. I don't know. There's no evidence of that yet. I don't know what they have, though. For all I know, they're like, take a look at the sofa from Red 5 Studios. And it appears in some of the porn shots. I have no idea. Yeah, I wouldn't. Don't mess with the IRS. Irwin or a shyster. He'll get you. Remember that wrestler? Someone explain to me like I'm 5 because I don't understand this. So, it looks like, if we go back, he wired himself. So, he's the CEO. Doesn't mean he owns the company. 50 grand to donate to League for Gamers. It says it was never logged before. I assume you have to log that type of transaction in one way, shape, or form. Waited for California to dissolve the nonprofit, then started a profit with the same name. So, changed the company? So, yeah, sent 50 grand, and I think the key takeaways from this slide is sent 50 grand, and apparently it's supposed to be logged.
At this point, never logged the transaction with the state of California. This should be logged. It's not in the logs where we're checking. We can see other logs, but it's not there. He then waits for California to dissolve the nonprofit, then started a for-profit Delaware Corp with the same name. That's bad. Why was this allowed? Is this all above board tax-wise? I'm sure the California AG would love to know about this and the rest of your tax dodges. June 6, 2012, Grummz offers his opinion on the Leica S2 and Nikon D3S, mentions using them for the last 2 years. This is, again, just here as an aside, he used these cameras and 100% owned them. They are a match for Foxy Fighter's content in the unscrubbed metadata. July 4th, 2013, you remember the Firefall bus? Well, that's shown at Anime Expo LA. July 9th, 2013, Firefall finally enters open beta. They are rapidly running out of money, though. That's going to become obvious. December 19th, 2013, he gets removed as CEO. They vote him out. July 29th, 2014, Firefall finally releases. September 22nd, 2014, Mark is, after his next venture, he has made MEK Entertainment, Mark Edward Kern Entertainment. It is in Aliso Viejo, which is where everything that he does is based. They are an indie game company looking to leverage the blockchain, maybe, 10 years too early for that hype, but I respect the forward-facing vision. MEKentertainment.com launches at this point. They are registered to MEK Entertainment Inc. However, looking at those business entries, it looks like he never actually registered it as a company called MEK Entertainment. The game from the seed funding never really materializes. He gets ousted from MEK Entertainment and they go on to make a game called Voxel Noughts, but Mark never really does anything with his money, and we'll get to some allegations about that money later on. June 17th, 2015, Grummz announces that he's joining Gamergate. He's mad. He's always mad. He's mad and he's horny. July 7th, 2015, DB-Chan LLC is registered. Mark Kern's mother is the registered CEO. And imagine having your mother being the CEO of your porn company. Come on, man. Have some pride. August 8th, 2015, MEK Entertainment changes to Retro Ronin Inc., which is a site about Voxel Noughts. No Mark. Mark is no longer working for Retro Ronin. And on September 14th, 2015, Crixa Labs LLC is registered. This is the same address as DB-Chan LLC. Interesting. My question here is why? It seems legally sketchy to register two LLCs under your 80-year-old mum's name. My working theory is that this is a tax shelter and it allows him to report that he earns zero or less than the personal income required to be taxable by law, and then he can report any additional earnings to his LLCs. He can then write taxes down by saying his revenue did not exceed his annual expenses. He can say his business spent more than they earned, not pay a dime on the money. This is classic tax fraud. Again, California AG would love to have this information.
Well,
October 19th,
that could be bad. So, if he did these things to deliberately avoid liabilities or taxes, yeah, that could be real bad.
2015, Debbie floats the idea of creating an online catfight game, likely thing for Mark to do. November 2nd, 2015, the Patreon for Foxy Fighters is launched. It maxes out at $57 a month and it's eventually paused in 2020. November 16th, 2015, Cameroon Wildebeest is a prolific artist working in the catfight scene. They passed away. His hard drive is too damaged to recover and a terabyte of catfight art is lost forever. November 20th, 2015, Mark's wife disappears from social media as far as we can tell at this point. Until then, she'd been quite a big cheerleader for him in the online space. So, just kind of putting it in here as a marker, really. December 9th, 2015, he leaves Gamergate after being kind of too transphobic. And he does drop a couple of F-slurs, so good job. No, sorry, he doesn't drop the F-slurs. People on Kotaku and Action do, but they're mad that...
Legit, why didn't he make Foxy Fighters for real? I don't know. He wanted to get out of the game. If his mom was in the 1967 Playboy... She was the way as Gwen Wong, and that's a major issue. She's deceased. Oh, shit. Okay. I hope she's alive. I mean, he didn't sound like it. We're not getting a Weekend at Bernie's situation, I hope. Blind Alien says, how many Twitter profiles Mark runs? Is Giga Bear also Mark? Don't know, man. Found Grummz has a... What's a Pix... What is it? What's Pix IV? Is that bad? You know some old Gamergators who still believe in ethics and journalism, wrote 2 books on it. Even got a meeting with Cabrutus? We're all right on Weekend at Grummz. Oh, shit. Gigabit, yeah. Legit Brownshire for backers. It's something, man. Weekend at Debbie's. It's an art site, Eastern mainly. Saying it's not bad. Did you miss the part where he wanted to bring back Rumble Roses?
Look, these people are all sad and need jobs. December 17th, 2015, Mark does interview to promote his free speech organization. He's still trying to keep League of Gamers going at this point.
Yeah, I guess it depends what you have on it. Not the site itself, but what's on it. Hello, Mr. Airbag.
And Voxel Noughts Twitter comes out and alleges that Mark stole money from Voxel Nought. So that's where that money went from that seed funding. Jan 16th, 2016 on freecatfights.com, they've been filming fights with a Red Dragon camera. Now that's interesting. Are these the same Red Dragon cameras that Red 5 had in their studio? I raised this earlier in the video. They had 3 Red Dragon cameras in their possession with $50,000 each. That's the whole rig. That's not just the brain. The brain's about 20.
So I believe, and maybe I'm misreading it, are they accusing Mark of taking the cameras? It's just
still
so
trying to
much,
keep League of Gamers going at this point. And Voxelnaught's Twitter comes out and alleges that Mark stole money from Voxelnaught.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that, because I know shit about that.
On Kotaku in Action do, but they're mad.
Voxelnaught's is bad shit.
Look, these people are all sad and need jobs. December 17th, 2015, Mark does interview to promote his free speech organization. He's still trying to keep League of Gamers going at this point. And Voxelnaught's Twitter comes out and alleges that Mark stole money from Voxelnaught.
Yeah, that's wild. There's a few tweets here I know that have been archived in places. There's this, where Mark Kern, rather than pay the team, he diverted money to his family. A bunch of people are tagged. And Mark is currently involved in a lawsuit with them, not as a defendant or being like, or doing the suing. It's the hell is it? A subpoena for like communications or some shit like that. I don't recall off the top of my head, but shit like that's still going on. They did accuse him of taking money. Mark said the entire team quit on you months ago. They're suing you. Yeah, I think they were all crazy, and maybe you have to be crazy to work together. These guys.
So, that's where that money went from that seed funding. Jan 16th, 2016 on freecatfights.com, they've been filming fights with a Red Dragon camera. Now that's interesting. Are these the same Red Dragon cameras that Red 5 had in their studio? I raised this earlier in the video. They had 3 Red Dragon cameras in their possession with $50,000 each. That's the whole rig. That's not just the brain. The brain's about 20. We have evidence that Mark was in possession of Red accessories at his personal lockup in California after he had left Red 5. Are they the cameras? Did he abscond with them, or did he purchase them with some of his pilfered...
I know Mark had like a long porn career, but yet it's Airbag's fault that people know about it. It's my fault too. It's Alyssa's fault. It's Western Kabuki's fault apparently. George Soros, Hillary Clinton, Winnie the Pooh, Hulk Hogan, Linda Hogan, all these fucking fools.
MK Entertainment money. I'm not alleging anything specific here, I am asking questions. What is fascinating is that he had access to these same cameras that Red did after he left Red 5. Remember that tax fraud discussion? It's at this point that Mark is hit with a lien for $265,133.88 for unpaid tax from the years 2011, 2012, and 2013. Excuse me for messing up the 2013 to 2015 on this slide, I'm not going to fix it. May 2nd, 2016, Debbie Chan.
Gazen says, you think I got Ubisoft to notice them? Maybe. Ubisoft noticed me. They noticed Smash. I'm hoping it brought some visibility to, hey, it's tough for seeing all these videos from people that are like, this is the developer that made this happen, or, these are the problems with the game. This type of person, like Rainbow Shirt Dude from Indiana Jones, that type of nonsense. But yeah, I think it probably drew some attention to it. Like a little domino effect.
Posts on Twitter looking for models, promises good conditions and a full makeup and hair crew. May 25th, 2016.
Mark is doing the makeup. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe he had someone.
Kern goes to the Firefall subreddit telling people they should kill the game so that he can buy back the IP for cheap, which is kind of sad. To me, it's still an active game at this point, but you're actively trying to kill it so you can buy and get it back because you're mad you got ousted. He can't let it go, can he? May 29th, 2016, he delivers a petition to restore vanilla World of Warcraft to Blizzard. This is kind of his other big claim to fame in modern day. And June 11th, 2016, the legal compliance page for FoxyFighter.com lists the mailing address for DBChan LLC as the same address that Crixer Labs is registered to. I've censored it here, but that is fascinating. You can't deny that DBChan, Foxy Fighters, that's Mark. It is Mark. June 27th, 2016, Make Ember, the spiritual successor to Firefall, is posted on change.org by Mark. That does hit 4,700 supporters, so, let's make Ember. He has camera equipment. He posts camera equipment to Flickr. Lenses here are a match to the photos shot for Foxy Fighters. And we see the red accessories I mentioned earlier. This is all in the same location, all shot on the same iPhone. Just the thought.
It's really weird, it'd be a different story if Mark went down with the ship with Red 5 Studios. And maybe it was part of his exit package to get cameras, or maybe he bought them himself. Who knows? Yeah, I do think there's going to be a lot of videos around this. A lot of bigger YouTubers have been looking at it anyway. I think there's a lot of attention from the Ubisoft ratio to both Grummz and Elon, and probably not positive attention for the most part, or at least the sentiment didn't seem positive. But I'm looking forward to looking to the response to all this after we get through this. If Mark was role-playing a lady on the interweb, I don't know if there's any pictures of him in drag. Let's hope not. Let's hope not. What do we got here? Yeah. And the focus of the first video was more on the, ooh, this is porn, than the parts that are actually bad. Yeah. So hopefully he'll dig in a little bit more. It's like, I'm not judging Mark because he had a porn business. I think there's reasonable questions to ask, especially as I've investigated Ember. I've done some deep dives in kind of how we got to this point in Ember and such, of his history with Red 5 and his history with MEK. Those companies failing, him being accused of like missing all sorts of time, but moonlighting. If I was moonlighting at a second job, if I had a job, I'd be fine with that. But if your first job didn't get accomplished, you're likely being some shit. Yeah, also keeps hiding stuff until questioned. Yeah, 100%. And Tired says, but eventually they will abandon him, just like they did with Nick Rakita. Yeah, they will. Nick was rough. Vincent says it's whataboutism. Kurt might be a sicko, and there's a lot of those. Not many call attention to themselves afterwards by, yeah, the whole Ember thing. The irony is Mark is protected by bad actors that deserve to go down with him and likely will. Oh, we'll take a look at some of those. Full-throated. Full-throated. And yeah, it's the tax stuff and the stuff with his mother that's the awful parts. Yeah, we're just about done with this one.
August 29, 2016, Ember, massive planetary wargame Indiegogo campaign is launched. $5,000 goal, raises $23,000. September 14, 2016, Ember Milestone 2 campaign is funded on Indiegogo. November 29, 2016, puts his first adult video on Clips for sale. This is his account and it's linked on the Foxy Fighters site. This is him. This is what he is selling. Note, an anonymous user eventually replies,
I saw this.
Is this a Mark Kern product? Deplorable. I want to know who this person was. What did they know? This isn't.
They knew back in 2017. Maybe they were like a coworker. Hey, Nat1, how you doing?
2017. Someone knew about this 8 years ago? How did they know? Anyway, July 3rd, 2017, MEK Entertainment is formally closed, and July 5th, Ember is funded for $170,000. So that's $114,000 between both Indiegogo and PayPal donations. That's over $20,000 goal. Grummz promises a playable mock-up in 6 months. Kickstarter for a full game a month or two after that.
Yeah, and that's where he's gotten a lot of scrutiny. And I will say, let's say, I rewind back to August, September. End of August is when I did my first video and my investigation into Ember. If Mark would have been willing to be a little bit more forward, he met with Upper Echelon. The interview was kind of BS. He said how much money he made, said it was going to be a big year for Ember. I believe he said it during that. He might have said it during another piece. But it was a lot of lip service and brought up a lot of questions like, where did all that money go? And I think that's reasonable. Those are reasonable questions. And to be so far from like 8 years ago, give or take, saying that we're going to complete our mock-up in 6 to 8 months and then work towards the full game. Because that's what people were paying for. You know what I mean? When you start crowdfunding for a game, it's like, okay, we're going to get to that next step. And then, the end result is, we're financing a game. But then after all this money was received, the progress was just incredibly slow. Is that scope creep? Is it just incredibly poor management? I know, his kids had health issues, and, that happens, right? But he did continue to crowdfund during that time. And there's some things that Mark says in his response that I did listen to around Ember and saying he doesn't make any money off it, which made me kind of like question a little bit. And also saying that they haven't taken any money. They haven't sold backer packs in a little bit since, like, I think November of 2023. But there's still been, the current patrons or subscribers as well. Well, patrons, I guess they'd be, or subscribers. Call them what you want on his own thing. As well as the the skin sales and things like that. Let's take a look here. Yeah, upper echelon. He's someone who's always struck you as such a big ego. He has to appear like the smartest person in his community. Upper echelon or Grummz? Yeah. Well, I think he knew because it was reasonable questions. The Firefall bus. He hasn't really done a whole lot of value at all. Most of your friends agree somewhat with him on the AAA stuff. But they're like, these games just look boring. Yeah, and lots of people have those opinions, right? And I don't want to shut down anyone's opinions. You know, there's going to be people on the right side, the left side. It's video games. If you kind of think, at least from my experience, when I work with someone, and, you know, I'm in the workplace, I'm having a great time with people, you know, you build relationships with people. Unless it's kind of like something totally blatant, politics and shit are like the fifth, sixth thing you talk about. You know, hey, what movies you like? Oh yeah, nice lunch, coworker. Let's sit down and have lunch. Have a good talk like normal fucking people. And, you know, unless it dwells into like, oh, goddamn immigrants or something like that, it's not going to be like anything too wild. I guess people need to a strategy that I see from Kern and others on, you know what? I'll say it. Others on that anti-woke side, because I see it a lot, is to try to create this boogeyman, try to create this schism, I'll use the name from the chat, this divide, this delineation, to say it's us versus them. They want to shut us down. They want to shut you down. Not the case. Not the case. Are all these people doing all these things with this crazy history that does, in my opinion, make him the equivalent of gaming's George Santos? Like, that's the best thing I can compare it to. And the dude is a public figure. So for him thinking about, and we'll talk about his kind of legal threats to folks, I don't know if that includes me or not, but I would really recommend it against it. I don't think it would be a smart move. We'll see what happens there. That said, for the level, for defamation in general, and I know it can vary from region to region, but dude is a public figure, recognized by Russian state media. Like, 100%. At very least, plus there's other things that recognize him. He's an activist. He has a Wikipedia page. Are you tired of winning, gamers? You tired of winning, son? The video spread really well for the channel size. The dude had 23 subscribers or something when he started. Yeah, I've definitely seen different opinions on upper echelon. I could say, you know, I haven't watched a pile of his videos, just a few. I've talked to him. You know, we had a very lengthy conversation around Emperor. I really liked him from my conversation. One thing I can say, I can say at this point, I've talked to numerous bigger YouTubers. I talked to one very recently. One with over 1 million subscribers. I won't say who it is. But had a really good conversation with him. I'll say who it is, because Fritz said it the other day. I talked to Ackman and Fritz on a call for a bit. Nicest guy in the world. I thought he was. That's my feedback on it. Grummz, yif. I think with all the things we know now about Grummz, he's more comparable to Shmorky and Yanderdev than anything else. Yeah. But I've talked to numerous larger YouTubers.
Anyway, September 13th, 2017, Mark's mum issues a certificate of cancellation for DBJan LLC. So, see you, DBJan. Thanks for your service, Mark's mum. And on July 24th, 2018, Ember begins selling upgrades to M3 backers as a limited time offer until the Kickstarter later this year. May 20th, 2018, a child support motion is filed by the state of California. Mark and his wife had been separated for a while. He had referred to her as his ex-wife in the Ember Discord, but they had reconciled at this point, according to another Twitter post from him. But this is obvious proof that they did separate at one point. And do you think the reason she left is because she found out about the adult entertainment gig, or maybe she found out about the tax fraud? Just a question. The timing makes sense with her leaving, him trying to go all in on the DBChan LLC. Much to think about. So, March 1st, 2019, Debbie resurfaces.
Personally, I probably wouldn't have touched on this. That's just my thought. If, like, I thought about a video I can make on this, and I'm like, there's parts of it I probably wouldn't go near, you know, the marriage, the divorce, I've always known about, like, the child support stuff. I don't believe I've touched on it on my videos. He's got enough problems. I want to focus on, like, the gaming piece. That's what I'm super interested in. And it's interesting to see the legal implications of what he's done. Because they're talking about all the tax stuff. There's a lot of California laws that protect consumers from crowdfunding things. So I think the legal stuff is fascinating. Unfortunate for Mark, from his perspective, but nothing wrong with us finding it fascinating. Yeah, I like Ackman. Nice dude.
Like, this is when this was archived, but obviously the post was on January 3rd, 2019. They come back on freecatfights.com and asked if there's a demand for Foxy Fighters to come back. 7th of March, 2019. Well, Mark admits that his original 3D artist left, and he's had to teach himself how to do 3D modeling and build the main character of Ember. He's never made a game this way before, so he's trying to do it all without...
If I'm not mistaken, this is, I believe, and I may be misquoting it, so I hope, but I think I'm pretty right on it. I'm going by memory. Originally, I think it was 2017, the summer of 2017, that they said that they need 6 to 8 months to make the demo, then a month or two later the Kickstarter. So this would either be, if I'm correct in that, it'd be like about a year after that expected date, and they lost the... so there must not still be close.
Without any outside investors, and at this point you should have realized it's a scam, team. So no one is a full-time employee on Ember. This is a solo project. An MMO is a solo project for him, and come on, team. Anyway, 28th of June 2019, Ember first playable is achieved.
I took that picture.
Gamers. Finally. 20th of August 2019, Foxy Fighter blog is offline. The DNS update needs to be required. Like, that's pretty simple, but this takes him a while. On the 5th of February 2021, Foxy Fighter is back online. Well done. Grummz is kind of wanking around at this point. He claims that he's not working on the game due to family reasons, but he's still just kind of shitposting on Twitter. And on 2nd of August 2021, Debbie releases a story called The Date. So while he's meant to be working on his crowdfunded game, he's actually just written adult literature on the crowdfunder's dime, and this is where that, like, violent sexual fantasy stuff comes in. 1st of December 2021, the Foxy Fighter URL lapses, a domain squatter grabs it for a hot minute. And 2022-2023, Grummz continues to radicalize himself on Twitter.com. The rate of his posting rapidly increases as he tries to make himself one of the big culture warriors, and he's deleted a lot of that stuff now. A lot of his tweets aren't in existence back past 2023, but his rate of tweeting has done nothing but increase even since then. 30th of Jan 2024, Debbie makes her last login on freecatfights.com. God bless. Foxy Fighter URL, still squatted. 26th of March 2024, Grummz tweets, bring back Rumble Roses. This is...
That's like all I've ever seen Grummz talk about wrestling. So for him to be like an expert in shooting women's wrestling, I took offense to that.
Relevant, because that's also Debbie's favorite game. 25th of March 2025, we are made aware of the Foxy Fighters connection, and at this point, archival attempts begin. Twitter user Juniper makes contact with Grummz for an interview request. He says yes. He is drunk at the time. He is drunk posting through it because he's mad that he got ratioed by Assassin's Creed. And when he wakes up the next day, Grummz blocks the hosts of Western Kabuki and begins to delete his past history as Foxy Fighting and Debbie-chan. It's Jova. Never been more Jova. So now what? This wasn't hard to find. We have archived all of it, so I'm going to be very careful with how I phrase the next things. The rest of it's all just been questions and statements of fact. Most of the previous portion, pure fact record. Mark Kern is the owner of Foxy Fighters and has a pattern of consistently ignoring his day job to focus on it. He has a history of mismanaging money. He has potentially committed tax fraud that the California AG will be very interested in. He has consistently lied about progress on his games and has failed to make anything commercially successful since he was a team lead at Blizzard. It is my opinion that these games at Blizzard succeeded despite him rather than because of him. He does not know how to code, he does not know how to texture models, his animations are based on 2 keyframes with 3 other frames of animation. He will always have an excuse for his failure after failure after failure. This man is sad. If you keep funding him or supporting him, you are willingly throwing your weight behind someone who has deceived and defrauded thousands of people while trying to position himself as a savior of gaming. There are people in the Ember Discord who have said they are afraid they are going to die before the game comes out. This is all for the purposes of lining his pocket and making some really bad pornographic material. And I feel sad for the guys that are about to die. They are just desperate to play this game. They want to play something that reminds them of when life was better,
Nexus
and he just
drop,
ignores
that's coming
them.
out.
His only goal right now is to get engagement from Elon Musk. He is deep-throating that man so hard that his throat is going to recognize the veins. That's his life now. He's not making a game. He keeps saying a Kickstarter is coming. This is a great year for him, but it's not. He does not know how to make a game. His one hope is that Daddy Elon notices him and throws a few $1 million at him to hire people who actually know how to make.
I could make a game with a few $1 million. Hell, I'm working on an RPG Maker game. I've spent, realistically, I've probably spent $500 on it so far. When I take into account software, I actually had art made, like a comic panel art that cost like $300. I got some custom sprites, so it does cost money to make a game. Some people, it doesn't cost millions, though. There's games out there that have done very well in Steam, like a lot of indie games, with pretty damn low budgets.
Make a game. This man is a failed dev, a failed pornographer, a failed husband with a fragile mind, a fragile ego, and a fragile life.
This was brutal. Like, again, people that have critiques about the video, totally get it. But you can't critique this. In one day, this guy's channel got bigger than my channel from one video, which is crazy. So that's a lot of visibility. Archive link. Okay, hold on. Whoop. I just want to see what it is. Okay, there's no pictures. There's links, though. Here, I'll throw it in the chat. You're more than welcome to take a look at it. Oh, that. Will of Crisps. That fucking guy. I was going to watch one of his videos. Because he has a reaction to it. Okay. Let me get the chat back up. So we'll get the reaction video up. This guy tore him down. Like, I talked about the game development stuff. I covered that bullet point. This guy's like failed pornographer, failed husband, fragile mind. I'm fragile ego, fragile life. I won't disagree with him after that. But yeah, this video probably has more views on it than all the other negative Grummz videos. Outside of like Philip DeFranco did one, I think, recently. You don't go to the angle where people have to hate Grummz so much, it means he's right. Yeah. Yeah. I like that criticism probably, you know, people can, I guess, say what they want. I wouldn't say it, but maybe I should. I don't know. No, I gotta be myself. Okay, I'll find the yellow flash dude. Okay, that stream was, I'm just bringing it up over here. Don't worry, I'll get to the good parts. This was a disaster stream for Grummz. You know what? Here's what happened, and I can give you a timeline. Grummz announced that, you know, he's going to get ahead of whatever Western Kabuki was doing. Had a podcast, or went on a podcast to explain his side of it. If they didn't release this video, that probably would have went a lot better for him. But what happened is, this video got released, and they're like, hey, Mark, are you okay to react with it? And he reluctantly did. And it's bad. Like, reacting to it, like, not seeing it before or anything like that. Sorry, I gotta get YouTube Premium.
If you're someone that suffers from having sensitive teeth, but you want them whiter, I recommend Sensodyne Clinical White.
Plain text, unencrypted emails and passwords of my account.
Oh my god.
That is
sex work is supposed to be
on the left, right?
See where they get started.
Remember, that was like 20
Are you going to expose Grummz?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to play it, but I got to go get a cold drink if that's cool. But I'll be back in a second. And I'll catch up on the chat in a moment.
Yeah, let's expose Grummz.
No, I'm supposed to expose myself.
Let's see his balls. So Grummz,
Wait, what?
Some account
Now
is gonna.
Tom's saying shit that's making me question his sexuality.
All right, Rhino. Let's just put a cork in it. Rhino,
It's
Tom isn't the one that was talking about sucking fingers. So
That's right.
I never said it.
And you're making it too easy for me. I'm supposed to pick on Endymion for fucking blowing me off at the end of last show. You're the one who's trying to blow me on the show.
Well, who did I blow up? What?
You said goodbye to each and every single person last
he's
week.
butthurt. You didn't
except
say
for
bye
me,
to him,
motherfucker. You said goodbye to everybody but me. I'm like, well, fuck you too, Endymion, when you left. So it's on now, bitch.
Now he's going to say goodbye to Tom when he leaves and no one else.
It's on now.
So this is a new subject to me. Grummz told me about this a little bit before the stream started.
You didn't hear about this?
Imagine that conversation. Maybe you didn't tell him all the details. Kiwi Farms is a forum, it's not a group of people. Some people and men there are pretty cool. Others are people pretty bad. Yeah, I can see that. The point was to laugh at people waiting for misfortune. Yep, I got on there. I'm not too upset about it. Whatever. Oh yeah, Star Wars girl. She's kind of randomly there. The anti-woke table of doom. For people that didn't get their face kicked in for bullying in high school.
I don't pay too much attention. You've got so many haters, man. I don't.
Yeah, you got so many haters, dude. If we had to keep track of your haters, man, like even in my own fucking DM groups, man, like I gotta hear this shit.
Alyssa is salivating over it. Airbag is salivating over it. You know, McDizzle is salivating over it. Everybody.
How about Blabs?
McDizzle? What a fucking guy. People think you sound like Yellow Flash?
I was like,
Blabs is. I think she's ready, man. I think she is ready to latch onto this because
dude, she has a hard on for you in a way I've never seen before, man.
Classic monsters and sci-fi fun. Appreciate the membership, you McDizzle Gaming legend.
I don't have no problem with Blabs. I like Blabs.
No problem with Blabs.
I like Blabs. I like her too. I don't know where it comes from.
It's crazy.
But she definitely doesn't like me. So yeah, this.
Why do you think that, Grummz? I'm sorry, I'll be pausing this just as much as them to be like, it's tough because he's so full of shit so much, it seems.
It's Western kabuki, right? It's a.
Oh shit! I'll share with you what I'm eating. If you're at all interested, I opened them up upside down, but they're called Pringles Mingles. I should, yeah.
Podcast. They got a YouTube channel. They got like a Spotify, and they only have like, I don't know, 3,000, 4,000 subs, right? But
they have a big Patreon, like you said.
But they got a huge Patreon. They're pulling
$7 grand. It's a lot.
$7,000 a month on Patreon.
What? How?
You said money pulled out. No, I'm just kidding.
Dedicated fans,
part
man.
of it is I'm going to explain this in the expose that they supposedly have on me, which is they don't know anything about it. You know what? We're going to go farther. They got an expose. They got the tip of the iceberg, man. Just the tip. I got the whole thing for you guys tonight.
So we're not playing just the tip tonight.
We're not playing just the tip.
Because usually it starts with just the tip, and then everyone's into it.
They might be a small channel, right? But they have been encouraging people to message me. So they flood every tweet I make. They try to flood with this. Oh, Grummz is gonna get it. Grummz is gonna get it in 3 days, and airbags in 48 hours. Grummz, that's all we're giving you. And you know, it was supposed to drop earlier, but they're actually a little scared because they got to get lawyers involved, and there's a good reason that they got to get lawyers involved that I'll talk about later. But I think it's time for me to go full Monty. What does chat think?
Let's do it.
I'm scared.
Should we do it, chat? Should we go into it?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Because even I don't know everything. He dropped this on me like an hour before the stream started.
You see, I thought everybody heard about this because literally I've been getting hundreds and hundreds of replies about this. And that's one of their tactics, right? Because every time I tweet, they try to flood it with rumor, innuendo, and falsehoods in order to like make my feed unpleasant to read, because that's what their goal is. They want to silence me because I'm one of the most effective voices out there in gaming and the culture wars, and they don't like that very much. And they got a hit list. And guess what? Smash JT is next. He's number 2 on the list. So
I'm going to say this is coming across as borderline delusional to me. They want to silence me. Is this a tactic that anyone that's this fucking crazy has when they get criticism? Is it just a way to deflect blame? I don't get it. I don't get it. Do I like Grummz? Not at all. Did I like Grummz before I started looking into Ember? No, not at all. Do I hate Grummz? No. If Grummz said, listen, McDizzle, I'm going to give you the skinny on Ember here. Let's talk through it. Ask your questions. I would have a list of questions. I would ask him. I would have a normal conversation. I hope he finishes his demo. It's a fucking comedy of errors by his own doing at this point, though. It truly is. And he has no one to blame but himself. I'm sorry, I don't mean to get so serious about it, but it really is. Like, it's not like, oh, I'm dealing with so much woke that I can't do this. This is years of stuff. And I'm actually pretty fucking sick of him blaming his problems on myself, on other people that might not have anything to really do with the reason that he fucks up. Huh. That's McDizzle. That's an angry Canadian, and I'm like, the guy's a fucking hoser. No.
we're going to talk about that too.
Who am I on the list?
No, sorry, Flash.
Why on the list?
Why am I always being thrown into shit though? Like, why am I even a part of this? What?
I have no idea. You're too good. You're too good. You're number 2. I'm number 1. Sorry, Smash.
Well,
I think it's Alyssa Mercanti is the reason you're number 2.
But she's already
I tried some booze. We could have a drinking game every time they say Alyssa Mercante.
Man, her tattoos are so cringe. Somebody posted a picture of her wearing a bag over her face while she was playing a game, but she had like really short shorts on.
Look, we got this asshole Aaron,
and that's a good look for her, by the way, with the bag on her.
Is the chat? Oh, the chat's not actually there. This asshole Aaron. One thing I wondered listening to that, I'm not sure if anyone was watching it live. Was it Aaron the backer? Because there's a former backer named Aaron that was pissed. Hey, Drift.
Her face. I actually think that she should go with that more, but her tattoos are really fucking cringe. Some of them look like prison.
Behind a paywall.
What is
I don't care what their tacos are. I want to get to the meat of the
Go
stuff.
to artlist.io and get the best music and sound effects for your videos.
And people would actually pay for this back then. Believe you had to pay for it. Later.
But you can always tell if someone's view botting because of the way the chat moves. Like, look at the way our chat's moving right now. Like, that's 3,000 people.
Well, Elon and I got botted and ratioed from Ubisoft, and people were like slamming me about that for days. And as soon as it turns out that Ubisoft needed $1 billion of investment to save their asses and to transfer and sell all their IPs to a subsidiary, they shut up real quick. So that was funny. But anyways,
the cope about the Ubisoft situation. It was no surprise that Ubisoft would be selling or spinning off to a new company. Shadows wasn't going to change that, but it kills them that, one, Shadows did, I think as expected. I don't know what they expected, but, it fell somewhere past Odyssey and somewhere much lower than Valhalla, which makes sense. Yeah, he's drunk. It gets worse. He starts screaming. Single and mingle rated. Eat some Pringles. Now I'm married, man. Yeah, that obsession with Alyssa is insane.
So they're doing this thing, right? They got a big expose. They're going to drop it any day now, and they keep delaying it, and they're finally going to do it, I think, tomorrow. So I thought, hey, wouldn't it be a good idea if we scooped the scoop? And
it didn't work
the
like
only
that.
2 people that know about this right now are Smash and Flash. Not because I wanted to keep it under wraps because I wanted to scoop the scoop. I didn't want them to go first
because their names rhyme.
You're getting out ahead of it.
I'm getting ahead of it.
Say getting out ahead of getting out ahead of it. Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. Wait. So I should back up. Wait. What's going on?
No, that's basically what
You're
scooping
getting out
them
ahead
is.
of
Oh
them.
yeah. I'm getting on ahead of it, and you know I've got it was like a really interesting time of my life. They went back 20 years ago. All right, they went back
the whole
20
fucking
years
generation.
Up. And yeah, whole generation.
So it didn't end 20 years ago though. Like, hold on, I got that. I did have that timeline up. Just bear with me a second here, because we can do this. So it started like over 20 years ago. And it probably would have ended Kobayashi Maru. Voxel Nuts. Confirms doing chat RP on second. What? Main creative force still going. Make Ember petition happen. Well, he was getting Ember petition happening, then that was going. Okay. Ember forums, website and art. Puts his first porn clips for sale. So he was still doing it when Ember was, it seems like it based on this timeline. By the way, for an example of a vertical slice, any Resident Evil remake demo. Okay, that is a good example, Demi. Honestly, yeah, I think his time on art has just been a lot. Like, that's what's eaten all of his time, I think, is art. That's my guess. So that timeline seems different than what he's reporting. They went back 20 years to find out when it started, because he was doing it for a while.
Even a little bit more. And they think they'd have something on me. And what it turns out is that it's, you know, like we said, it's just the tip. They don't have the whole thing. So basically, are you guys ready in chat?
Should I scroll down?
No. Don't scroll down yet.
Do we need like a drum roll for this or anything?
Yeah, we need a drum roll.
Wow, you were ready on that.
I'm good. I haven't had a little video game thing there.
Grummz, am a porn king.
What?
I am the Hugh Hefner of Blizzard.
Everything is on sale at the Sephora Savings Event.
We're doing it. Hold on.
Starting April 4th.
That's what they got.
What do you mean a porn king?
That's what they
I don't
got.
understand what that means.
20 years ago.
Should I scroll down then?
This is before, sure. This is before OnlyFans. This is before anything else. I, as a side gig, ran several adult websites and made a shit ton of money doing so. And they don't know this. They think that I was just writing like erotic fanfic, and posting it online. And they found one of my sites. And the way they found this, by the way, is what's going to get them in trouble with the FBI. And we're going to talk about that.
So
later.
you're a pimp, basically.
Well, look, everybody
Big
in tech
pimpin'.
was doing this. Anybody who knew how to do this and how to get online, because this is before it was easy. This is before there was Wix. This was before anything else, right? So if you wanted to do this, you had to have technical knowledge and you had to know how to make money. And so I did. I made a lot of money, and this is what they're running with. And so what I did was I wasn't comfortable with hardcore porn, right? So what I did was softcore porn. And
God, you're such a prude.
I will pause, and I hope you don't mind the pausing frequency as we're going through this. So, I've seen it. I don't know how you define hardcore and softcore, but some of that didn't seem softcore. Like titties with milk coming out of them, or... Yeah. Some of the drawn stuff was really rough. Twitter's actually really bad if you want to get anything other than porn done right at probably. Let's see what else we have here. And hey, Ash. Hope you're doing good. Here, I gotta change this to live chat versus top chat. YouTube's weird like that. The in real life stuff, I don't know. I haven't looked at it.
What's that? Oh,
You're so
yeah.
rude.
But I can say the animated stuff I saw didn't feel... It was animated, but definitely hardcore-looking animated stuff, I thought.
How dare you?
Well, you said there was a fan fiction.
Did, like, Cinemax stuff.
I'm not a real gamer, and I'm not a real pornographer.
What was the...
You know what? His reporting's kind of... kind of boring. I want to get him to the video. Did he actually talk about the Smash?
I saw her in a porn.
I do want to talk about this. How they got the information and why it's a crime. Let's talk about this. The plot was hashed on the Western Kabuki Discord server. So that's a server with like over 5,000 people. Gigabear discovered it all and shared it with me. They have a dedicated channel called Goonergate Mega Thread where they coordinate these attacks. Not that I know of. This channel is now locked behind a paywall, and only paying people $10 a month can access it. So, from what I understand, and I believe this is correct, that changed either after or before Gigabear joined. I don't know, though. But it wasn't like that. So they had the channel of this was not locked. I can't speak to if it was locked recently, but it was not locked until recently, if it was at all. So it was just a public Discord. Anyone could join it. There was no vetting, no cost. I got invited to join it after my first Grummz video because obviously, as you can see, there are people that don't seem to like him very much in there. And yeah, I did not see coordinated attacks. I saw people talk about people that they didn't like. I think that happens in lots of Discords. But I haven't observed any of that. Nor was I incredibly active in there recently by any means. I don't think so anyway. But yeah, it's a Discord. Public Discord, anyone could join. Anything I put in there, I wasn't hiding. Again, 5,000-6,000 people.
Moment before, right? So everyone is like jaw is dropping, and she sits down next to him, and nothing else other than that, right? Because I knew that I didn't want to cross any lines, so I told her, it's like, what you're gonna do is you're gonna surprise everybody, sit down next to him, start to have a chat, and then we're gonna go back to the big suite I rented, and we're gonna play Xbox together. And so we played like.
I don't care about like I've watched his
easy to use.
What? Hold on. Maybe I have to refresh it because I legit just bought it.
The plain text, unencrypted emails and passwords of my accounts. That is a crime.
People keep asking why we're recording sad.
Crime.
Oh wait, that's
out there doing this thing. They don't understand. I made shitloads of money.
Okay, let's get to the video.
So I told her, it's like, what you're gonna do is you're gonna surprise everybody, sit down next to him.
This early because, well, we scooped them. Do you want to react to this?
I have no idea what we're looking at.
So apparently this is the shit that they were going to drop on you.
This is their gotcha video.
Okay.
This is their gotcha video.
They're going to show all the... You can't show all of it because...
How many views does it have?
We had
none. They just dropped it today.
We had very...
It's got 41 likes.
Yeah, because we scooped them. Because we freaking scooped them. And so they're going to show... I can tell you what they're going to show. They're going to show the most salacious parts and the most BDSM parts of what our writers create.
You know this man's heart is going hard right at this moment. Imagine the scenario. You're Grummz, and you're like, yeah, I got ahead of the story before anyone else could tell it. You know, he had a chance to tell his part of it. But then suddenly they're like, oh yeah, here's the video. You want to react?
Created here.
It doesn't look like they'd show anything bad.
Didn't show anything?
They don't show anything.
Well, there's some screenshots and text.
They just say that you continue to radicalize yourself. If you keep funding him or supporting him, you are willingly throwing your weight behind someone who's deceived and defrauded thousands of gamers while trying to position himself as the savior.
Bring back Rumble Roses. Let's talk about that. I'm the best game.
The defense, like right off the bat, is wild.
Game developer to bring back Rumble Roses.
I love the game
because that was the niche we targeted.
This is all they have.
Rumble Roses is basically a wrestling game.
Dude, I got more than that.
Hot chicks.
This is it.
They didn't find the good stuff.
This isn't weird.
They have what is this? Okay, because I'm not going to play this.
I know from watching a bit of it, they had trouble staying focused, but we'll get to the.
Book her right away as Playmate of the Month.
Oh no!
Your mom involved with this. You
video games? I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm out.
Well, we did more than that. Do you want to hear the next part?
Well, it's not.
If it doesn't involve nudity, no.
Grummz, this is a hit.
There was
piece.
no
like
nudity.
Towards the end of it, they say failed game dev, failed pornographer, failed husband. Which,
oh shit! No.
Fragile mind, fragile ego, fragile life. Like,
I
this
made
is
a shit ton of money. I made a shit ton of money, and you know what? It funded my company when I started Red 5. It funded the start of Red 5.
But it's just
help me understand that. Okay, Red 5. Let's go to the Wikipedia page on that. Red 5 Studios. Okay. Development history, developer history. Okay. Launch campaign to increase the size. Okay, nothing really says. Let's see, Red 5 Studios opens. Their website still exists. That's wild. I'm just taking a quick look here. Yeah. That's crazy. I know there's Chinese investments involved in there. Let's take a look here.
curious how they're it's clearly a hit piece. It
is a hit piece.
It is hard to hit, but watching them talk is funny.
There's a lot of people that like hentai. In fact, Airbagged in the chat. What's up, Airbagged? I think probably
look.
He strikes me as a hentai. He strikes me as a hentai enjoyer himself, which I don't have a problem with. If you like hentai, man, I don't care.
Oh, MLYP.
I don't care.
You're in trouble. You're in chat, and I got the goods on you. I got the receipts, and the FBI is going to paying you a visit. So enjoy.
I'm
your
a man
time
of culture
now.
myself.
So what he's referring to is, hey, what's your mom involved with this? You know, fucking my whole family was involved. Do you know that my mom was a Playboy bunny? That she could go to Hugh Hefner?
I don't even have words. My mom was a Playboy bunny.
Mansion at any time, and she says Hugh Hefner is a very nice man. So guess what? This has been a part of my family since my parents. And so go fuck yourself.
Sex work has been a part of his family since his parents.
So,
by the way, Hugh Hefner was not a nice man. He was a cordial man. He wasn't. Nice.
She liked him. I don't know.
Wait. Hold on.
If this is just that you made hentai, I don't really see the big deal here. Other than it will probably irritate some of your conservative followers.
Yeah.
For the majority, I don't think they're going to really care too much.
Wait,
is that all this is?
Anna posed a really good question though. How does your mom?
Right, dude.
Okay.
In the private Discord server that they paywalled, and so I don't trust him one bit because he's in trouble with the FBI now. I have the receipts on all of you assholes because GigaBear was in there documenting everything you did, and I'm filing my FBI report next week. So I wouldn't give him the time of air because he's going to be a felon soon.
Those are some pretty strong statements. To say someone's going to be a felon soon, is that slanderous? I don't know. I mean, does Grummz demonize sex work specifically? I don't know. His audience definitely does. Hugh, after anything like Trump? Yeah, for Tank could hopefully get Yellow Flash to actually watch it. Like, if they're just talking about porn, they're missing the point. But you'll see, like, the ultimate mop-up jobs here, I'm sure.
Oh, I love it when a plan comes together.
I say we do it, but at 1.5 times speed. That's my vote.
Yeah,
maybe we can do that. But hold on. Now, I asked this guy in the chat if he's going to strike me, and he hasn't answered because I'm not going to play this. I don't trust these people. So if I got to get a copyright strike, I'm not going to play this shit.
What the fuck is that?
So I want express permission tonight.
Okay. What we'll do, because they bitch about his intro. We'll get to the facts, though.
To remember that, but that had like freaking tentacles in it, and that was the first time I saw it, and I haven't watched it since then. But do I like anime babes? Yes.
Doctor?
Okay, I want to wait till he gets mad.
And so the timing was all off on that.
As part of his career. March 27th, 2001, FoxyFriday.com is purchased.
This is where you should have started, bro.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to be hard on you, but this is where you should have started. Like,
what do you mean?
Where he's born and shit. You should get to the juicy shit a little fast.
Well, this guy sounds quite silly now because this video has more than 250,000 views and it's still rising. And that's going to be infuriating. Again, to give you an example, I think Upper Echelon's video on this had 80,000.
Yeah, so
this is where you wanted to get Foxy Fight.
This could be like this could be a 4-minute video. Like, just what is the information? Just give it.
I don't know what they're going for here.
I'm not even trying to be an asshole or a dick. Like, this is where you should have started.
Guess what, guys? I did softcore porn, and I started when I was working on World of Warcraft, and I made a bunch of money.
Hi, Mark Kern. Ignore country of France. That is where Gandhi SAS is located. They're a French company. But Mark Kern is the registrant. Now, Mark Kern isn't a unique name, but there's later information that basically proves that this is him.
That's me. Ask him how we got the information.
FoxyFighter.com. To put it as simply as possible, FoxyFighter.com is sexy catfight hentai. It is
Pause right there.
run by a persona.
Yeah, that's the company name. That's the company mascot. That's the company brand. These guys have no idea how to do business.
The company mascot, Debbie Chan.
If I went out there as a guy, do you think I would sell anything? No.
I want to see what sexy cat fight hentai looks like.
I could show you because
It is kind of weird to think that people are probably spanking it literature that Mark wrote. Why can't these guys just have fun with gaming and stop being all the anti-woke crap? Yeah. Same with the Star Wars community and geeks and with geeks and gamers. Yeah.
We commissioned that.
Off stream.
Here goes flashes.
They're giving us some funny content to talk about though, because it's absurd.
Cat fight
fucking history. Fucking the algorithm now for Flash is going to be insane.
It's women.
Okay, let's hear what he said about this though. It's all been scrubbed.
Gosh, okay.
Real quick.
Because we commissioned that.
Off stream.
Here goes Flash's
cat fight
fucking history. Fucking the algorithm now for Flash is going to be insane.
My algorithm's already fucked.
Hey, chat. How many of you are okay with hentai?
That's pretty strange. It's okay. I see. Oh, that's pretty graphic.
What?
I'm just looking at sexy cat fight. I just Googled sexy cat fight hentai and then I clicked images.
Yeah, it's pretty graphic. That's my thoughts on it.
All right.
Show me. The chat says, you wouldn't be able to show that on YouTube, surely.
I can't show that on YouTube.
This is old news. I've already talked about this.
But Debbie Chan is Mark.
Debbie Chan. It's my company.
Playing as a woman?
It's my company, and that is the mascot, because who the fuck wants to buy porn from a guy?
Oh, like a pen name. Okay.
He has, over the course of 20 plus years, collected a variety of live action catfights, drawn hentai catfights, quite a bit of like run-of-the-mill porn. However, there are multiple stories where his persona, Debbie, violently sexually abuses women.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Real quick, so you know who likes that kind of porn? Women.
Yeah, they do. And actually, I have women working at the company as artists and as writers back then, 20 years. They're going back 20 years, dude. And yeah, so basically, we wrote to market, right? So if something sold, we sold it. And there was a point of time where we went from oil wrestling to more BDSM and S&M, and we served that market. It was a purely business decision.
50 Shades of Grey is like one of the most popular things with women. So what kind of gotcha is this?
I keep going back to, I'm so confused.
Oh my God. The plausible deniability is wild. Just watch the video.
Is that Grummz made a lot of money. And he was
I did.
If you're trying to get women upset, all they're going to do is probably fucking go masturbate to his porno.
You know what's going to happen is that after this stream, because I had, look, 10 years ago when I did Gamergate, I had so many women DMing me their tits and DMing me everything else and trying to get with me. And all this is going to do is encourage that.
All right, I got to give this.
I'm sorry. It went from, I had so many women sending me pictures of their tits, I'm like, okay, to this is just going to encourage more women to want to fuck him? Did I hear that right? Did this bro just say this is going to encourage more women to want to fuck him? Hey, Joseph, how you doing? What a bunch of crazy hypocrites. If Alyssa did this, they'd be screaming about her, calling her all sorts of things. They did when she admitted to cam work. Yeah, they took cam work and made it something a lot, like, different. No, they didn't, Grummz. I gotta hear that again. I never noticed this.
Buy porn from a guy.
Oh, like a pen name.
Oh my fucking God. Thank you for the super chat, Joseph.
Selling it. He has, over the course of 20 plus years, collected a variety of live action catfights, drawn hentai catfights, quite a bit of like run-of-the-mill porn. However, there are multiple stories where his persona, Debbie, violently sexually abuses women.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Real quick, so you know who likes that kind of porn? Women.
Sorry, that went back a little far.
Yeah, they do. And actually, I have women working at the company as artists and as writers back then, 20 years. They're going back 20 years, dude. And yeah, so basically, we wrote to market, right? So if something sold, we sold it. And there was a point of time where we went from oil wrestling to more BDSM and S&M, and we served that market. It was a purely business decision.
50 Shades of Grey is like one of the most popular things with women. So what kind of gotcha is this?
I keep going back to, I'm so confused.
All they've told us is that Grummz made a lot of money. And he was
I did.
If you're trying to get women upset, all they're going to do is probably fucking go masturbate to his porno.
You know what's going to happen is that after this stream, because I had, look, 10 years ago when I did Gamergate, I had so many women DMing me their tits and DMing me everything else and trying to get with me. And all this is going to do is encourage that.
All right, I got to give this guy the benefit of the doubt here, being that we are watching this video. We haven't really watched that much. It's kind of like he's building up to it. So we keep asking, what's the question in regards to what is the gotcha?
Fast forward. That shit was funny.
We get into the fact that they are in trouble with the FBI. As of next week, that my report's going through, I'm calling my FBI agent because you cannot do that.
My FBI
if you're
agent?
a security researcher and you're sharing information, that's one thing. If you're doing for malicious intent in order to try to humiliate or shame someone else, which I am not, then that is a crime. And you guys are fucking busted. So busted. And I can't believe you came on this stream to want to share your little expose because you thought you were being pwned because I invited the FBI to here. I have a direct line to them and you guys are fucked.
Flashing bad. Too many $50.
I actually have a direct line to the FBI myself. But I don't
That's
abuse
good
it.
meme. I like
Yeah, that is funny.
Did you just say I don't abuse it?
That is funny. Oh, we got a 20. NASMR for $20. Let's cut to the chase of the video. Are you using your mom? I respect, because this guy said the 20. Let's cut to the chase of the video. Are you using your mom as a CEO to cover owing taxes? Did you use backer investor money to pay off the $265K tax lien?
That was 10 years ago, all right? And that's a settled matter. And I keep my finances completely separate, and we run a family business. So my mom handles all the finances. I don't make a dime off this stuff, and I do that in order to keep it separate, and that is a settled matter. And that's 10 years ago. They're bringing up stuff that old.
Didn't really answer his question. I believe he does later. Direct line to the FBI is wild. Bro thinks he's on X-Files. He's got to get Agent Mulder and Scully after him.
Thank you for the super chat. I give that guy respect. He sent the 20 to get it up.
He did. Unlike Airbagged or what is this? YLLP PDQXYZ. He won't even pay you 20 to air his stream. He's so desperate.
10 years is old too. It's a long time ago. It's a decade.
Look, we run everything as a family business. Even the porn stuff. Look, I told you my mom's in Playboy. My wife's fine with it. It's like this is not anything new.
The same password as Mark Kern's email.
Before this gets started, I will tell you, we might have missed it at the beginning. So he said his wife knew, his mom knew. You know who didn't know, though, that he talked about in the stream? His kids. That would be a wild conversation to have. You remember when Dad had all these cameras? Like, my God. He gets angry later, which is wild, though. This gets to him, I think.
Fascinating, huh? We also found this one.
What does this say? Hold on.
Don't know.
Pretty little girl.
That's not me.
Pretty little girl 16.
That's not me. You know who else they found? Data. They found some housewife on Facebook and tried to implicate her. I have that too. But that's not me.
What?
This isn't you?
No.
Are they trying to say this is you?
They are, and that is a problem for them.
Classic Monsters! Thank you for the membership upgrade. Appreciate you, man. So, he's denying that this is him. I don't know enough about the data specifically to be like, yeah, this is him. But if they've done their research and that's the username, it's all tied to the same shit. I don't know. If he's saying this isn't him, then and they're saying it's him, if there's court, discovery would be a hell of a thing. Yeah, wherever it's secured from. But what can he say there? Even if it's his, what's it going to be like? He's like, this would be toast for him if he said that. Because that's like Pretty Little Girl 16 or something.
Wait, where's the evidence that this is you? Their Foxy Fighter address.
They are releasing the evidence if they haven't already, or they've released some of it, but the other stuff they're going through, from what I understand, to make sure personal information isn't involved with it or something.
Addresses, the same password as Mark Kern's email.
Searching a PWN database, which is a database of dumped
They
passwords
did
and
not
email
search
addresses. We
PWN
found the
database.
Foxy Fighter email.
I don't even know what that is, to be honest.
Right,
I don't know what PWN database is.
What that is am I pwned? So if you want to search for data breach on your password, you can go to amipwned.com and you can type in your stuff.
I get email alerts for that.
Yeah, but obviously you have to know your email address and you have to know, and then they tell you if your account's compromised or not. That's very different from going to the dark web and posting plain word passwords and text messages. Passwords and email accounts from that. So those accounts are not mine. That is a complete fabrication.
So what Mark is saying, if I understood it correctly, he might have said it earlier. They said they went to the PWN database, and he's like, no, they did the dark web. So would the line be here? If they use the PWN database, it's fine. If they use the dark web, it's not. I'm assuming. Hey man, did you miss the part where he said he could only call his mama sexy? Yeah, he was talking about his mama earlier, but you know, Freudian issues can pop up anywhere in the stream.
Boy, did they go this far? Because I got a hell of a lawsuit here.
The same password as Mark Kern's email. Fascinating, huh? We also found this one.
What's that one?
Pretty Little Girl 16. Nope.
All right,
MySpace data.
Grummz, I already
collection data and
Grummz.
breach compilation data.
This is all just bullshit, but also too, the video's bullshit. If you're gonna fucking actually tell us what you're fucking showing us here, don't just fucking show us.
The damage control, again, this video is likely done better than numerous Yellow Flash videos. So complaining about the video is just wild. So it's linked to Debbie from the PWN database. The thing is, if my understanding, it's not defamation if it's true, right?
I have.
This video so far is garbage, and like the entire premise of the video so far that I've seen is absolute garbage.
It's killing it though.
I have screen caps. I have screen caps of their Discord. They don't know this,
Bullshit.
but GigaBear infiltrated their Discord, and I know exactly how they orchestrated this. This stuff never came up. I was looking for anything that they were coming up with. So they are mixing fact, which is, hey, FoxyFighter.com, yeah, that was my company. This stuff is completely bullshit, and they have just landed themselves in a huge bunch of trouble.
I'm actually
I can see what
on this.
in my response to them, I can see the people replying to me and what they're already trying to do with it.
Nothing burger.
Gotcha is, and they're saying the gotcha is, they're alleging you took $600,000 in Kickstarter money to run a fetish porn site. Now they're aligning these two things directly.
Those sites were closed before.
No, I understand that, but I'm telling you, this is what the narrative is that they're trying to create right now.
Wow. Okay. No, those sites were closed well before we started development.
Oh, I know that. I already know that.
Let's take a look at the timeline. Okay. So, because I thought I saw some overlap there. Okay. Free cat fights. So in 2016 in January, they started doing they've been filming fights, like live ones. When did he start crowdfunding? Crowdfunding, okay. He's still selling porn. He's selling cameras though, like in between the fundraising. This was probably around their claims around like divorce and stuff. Like selling the cameras. Would have been 2017, the cancellation of the company. The actual like Russian sites. Hold on. Can I do a control F for Russia? Yeah, Russian cat fights, Latina cat fights. When did it close? See, those ones closed in 2005, but he's still on the porn wagon. They told him not to bring him on again because his begging and constant old man storytelling was throwing off the vibes. I bet you that was a vibe killer. So he was still doing porn. Sounds like such a weird thing to say. Still doing that stuff during the crowdfunding. It looks like it dropped off after.
I'm just saying this is what they're gonna do. They're not gonna.
This is insane. This is like allegations that
they're not gonna try to get you on the porn stuff. They're gonna try to get you on the he's.
And again, I'll say allegedly because again, I haven't looked into this. I don't know how a pwn database really works. But the pictures are gross.
Misusing the funders' money.
Yeah, that's not true at all.
We're only $50 away from $1,000 tonight, so
that's wild.
Flash, did I not tell you this would be the best stream?
Flash will have a double shot for that. I won't.
Yeah, if we hit the 1,000, I will do a shot for that.
I won't. Fuck, I'll die.
I'll do it. You don't have to.
I might.
I'm just leaving that out there. Moving on.
Just leaving that out there.
Was the earliest capture of FoxyFighters.com.
I don't get that. Where's the evidence that this pretty little girl 16 is you?
They got nothing.
I don't understand how this correlates to you.
It doesn't.
I think on the previous.
So that's going to be interesting. I think that's going to be a point of contention between these folks. Is that his, or is it somebody else's? Or not somebody else's, or is it not? Because those are the pretty serious allegations saying that, hey, you know what? You had email address? Is it an email address or is it like a website? MySpace, wasn't it? I don't know. Something with that username is very concerning. If it was him, that's real bad. If it wasn't him, that's a bad mistake on their part.
Screen caps of their Discord. They don't know this, but GigaBear infiltrated their Discord, and I know exactly how they orchestrated this. This stuff never came up. I was looking for.
Funny enough, I heard about it like after it started to kind of happen. I was barely in that Discord recently because I've got like the maximum amount of Discords. The last one I tried to join, I didn't have enough. I don't know if kind of like you folks, you get myself, I'm overwhelmed with the amount of Discords. They all have notifications on them that I probably haven't checked. And there's a lot going on.
Anything that they were coming up with. So they are mixing fact, which is, hey, FoxyFighter.com, Yeah, that was my company. This stuff is completely bullshit, and they have just landed themselves in huge bunch of trouble.
Have they?
I'm actually
I can
kind
see
of
what
excited
they're
on this.
in my response to them. I can see the people replying to me and what they're already trying to do with it.
Nothing burger.
Gotcha is, and they're saying the gotcha is. They're alleging you took $600,000 in Kickstarter money to run a fetish porn site. Now they're aligning these two things directly.
Those sites were closed before.
No, I understand that, but I'm telling you, this is what the narrative is that they're trying to create right now.
Wow. Okay. No, those sites were closed well before we started development.
Oh, I know.
But that's just a little piece of the porn that he's talking about. Like the Latina catfights and the Russian catfights that he says he outsourced the videos. So did he like email some guy in Mexico and be like, I need porn videos of 2 girls? That's...
That I already know that. I'm just saying this is what they're gonna. They're not gonna.
This is insane. This is like allegations that
they're
if
not gonna
they
try to get you on the porn stuff, they're gonna try to get you on the he's misusing the funder's money.
Yeah, that's not true at all.
We're only $50 away from $1,000 tonight. So
And yeah, 1K just for these guys running interference. Man, people love it. Conservative commentators make mad cash.
Flash, did I not tell you this would be the best stream?
Flash will have a double shot for that. I won't.
if we hit the 1,000, I will do a shot for that.
I won't. Fuck, I'll die.
I'll do it. You don't have to.
I might.
I'm just leaving that out there. Moving on.
Just leaving that out there.
That was the earliest capture of foxyfighters.com.
I don't get that. Where's the evidence that this pretty little girl 16 is you?
They got nothing.
I don't understand how this correlates to you.
It doesn't.
I think on the previous page, I think they were saying they found the connected password was the same to those emails.
Oh, they found Sea King. All right, Sea King Fembites, right? He is a site that's free, and he posts stories of the best stories out there. And one of our writers won. The company won, and I'm glad. I'm sorry we placed third. I was hoping we'd place first.
Here's something. I'll tell you something I don't totally buy. He mentioned, I don't know if he mentioned earlier or I just heard it earlier in stream, that he outsourced writers. One of the reports from Red 5 is he would make people read his fiction, and it was terrible. If you read some of that stuff, it's terrible. Including, like, the Gate Strider stuff. I thought it was awful. Like, he used Icy, like, 4 times or something in the first paragraph. And this stuff, like the erotica, I could probably read some of it. Can I find some? Hold on here. Where is in the description? Hold on. I'm going to bring up the video description here for the other one. There's no problems with reading erotica on stream, is there? I don't know. I keep saying erotica. Feels pretty weird. That video's almost got 300,000 views, man. He's gonna be pissed. Again, my videos have gotten the most 15,000. And you know what, folks? We are $995 away from 1,000 tonight. No, I'm just kidding. That guy's fucking wild. Conservative commentators make the mad cash on these streams. 1 second here. Let's see what I can find. Is there links in here? Archive links. Let's see if I can find an example. Okay. There are web archives. I'm just bringing them up to take a look here. Let's just take a look at some of the writing. What about his award-winning one? Okay, hold on. Releases a story called The Date. There's so many links in here. 1 second here. Maybe it's covered in the video. Oh, we got... I think I can show this. There's no nudity on this one. There's that. Ugh. What's this link? I can't seem to find any of it. It's bad. It's bad.
Wins second place in the third Seeking Femme.
Oh, second place. That's second place. Well, they got it wrong.
Better.
That's still pretty good.
So he is actively making this stuff. And on
10
March
years
24th,
ago,
2003,
20 years ago.
RussianCatfights.com. This is another site owned by Mark. He confirms it on a Twitter post.
Respect the grift, Wow Such Gaming.
We ran
a lot
multiple
of grifters in the
sites.
voice chat. I embrace the grift.
So I'll just give you
no
a heads
shame.
up.
Why should I be shamed for making money?
So we ran
Fuck you.
RussianCatfights.com, which we outsourced to Russian video producers, and then we ran Latina.
Shamed because you spend it on buying me Fosters.
It's true. Well, laughing man.
So enough about their Fosters. Shit beer. With again, I'm Canadian. We have the best beer. Now, that's the part I was saying I was kind of like weirded out by, the outsourcing to Russia for porn. Outsourcing to like Latin American countries for porn 20 years ago. I kind of shudder a little bit. Just because, man, it just sounds shady.
And then we ran, look, we did whatever people would pay for, okay? So then we ran LatinaCatfights.com, which I don't know if they found. And that also was outsourced completely.
For real, Demi, he should have stuck to this. He probably would have a lot less pressure. He could have fought the woke mind virus as a porn king versus the stuff that's going on with Ember. Hey, Joseph Soda coming in with the super chat. Thanks for the $5, man. When it gets to be too much and they have to distance themselves from Grummz, hope people remember how hard they cover for them when they're grifting bums. Yeah. Yeah, we'll take a look at some of the reactions, too, because it's wild. Appreciate you, man. Labatt's good. I enjoy Labatt's. Keith's is good. Furry-foot fetish artist from the Soviet Union. Yeah, probably some good Russian ones. Debbie should have stayed on this wagon.
March 22nd.
Oh, there they go.
Oh, shit. There we go right there.
Oh, my God.
Some more. Hell
Dude,
yeah.
I made so much money. We were running 5-star resorts. We were shooting on red cameras. We were, we treated the models right. And like I said, it's not something that I would condone anymore, because I think that it's become a net negative on society. But did I call that before they so-called revealed it?
No, listen, the whole grift thing is just funny to me because I'm not stealing anybody. Nobody's forced to spend money here. And I'm not saying I need this money to pay my bills with the electric bill. Like there's plenty of streams where I've not made that much money.
Is Tom offended yet? I thought Tom would be offended by now.
No, not
a grift is if I were to scam you out of your money.
You want to know the truth, Grummz? This is so fucking boring. I actually want to go play video games.
Holy shit!
Cheers.
It's not against you. It's just this is like a big.
I know you
burger.
hate video games. It is a big nothing burger, and they're trying to hype it up in something, and they actually.
No, there is a something burger, but it's not the something burger that they were going for. It's the more against them for what.
Oh yeah, because they lied.
And I would almost say what the messages that I've seen about Alyssa Mercante and the things she's trying to do to me behind the scenes are a pretty bad look for someone that's trying to sue me for some things right now. So
well, we're gonna get to that, Smash, because we got some.
I don't know if we're gonna get to it because this is putting me to sleep.
Give me a little bit. I will have it.
Can we skip forward, or where's the good part? Where's YLMP? Where's the good part?
I need at least 10 minutes.
Okay.
And then I'll have that shot.
Let's just see where he
goes.
goes.
So while we're doing this, guys, I got to take off. But it was fun.
Oh no, we bored him. I bored him. All right, can we skip ahead to what they did? Because I have exactly how they got this info, and they're lying on the video.
I was going to say let's get verbal now, but go subscribe.
Oh, he's already left. Mr. Burger for 20 says, Grummz, scumbags on the internet got you down. Want to feel better? 89's trivia on Mr. Burger's trivia show at the Flashcast.
That's kind of funny.
Hey, check out Mr. Burger.
2004. We get an archive of Latina Catfight.
I kind of like roasting this video because it's like,
it's
the
boring.
Fuck is here? Latina catfights. I would watch that.
Dude, Latinas are hot-blooded,
I love Latina women. I just love all women.
And they're curvy.
Yeah, they are.
But
that when they were trying to own Rachel Zegler for the back hair thing, and it's like, obviously these are men that have never been close to a Latina woman or an Italian woman. For that.
So I didn't film these. These were outsourced.
That was so stupid to me.
These were outsourced to Brazil, and whatever Brazil sent me, I published.
So he hasn't filmed these ones, but I believe he talks about the filming of the other ones, which he might not. He maybe will mention it proactively. I don't recall.
Fights. This is also owned by Mark.
Oh my god.
June 28, 2004. Access to Foxy Fighter goes for about $10 a month. Posts are stories and drawn artwork.
Whoa.
November 13, 2004. World of Warcraft releases. This is effectively the pinnacle of Mark's career. He's credited as team.
Fucking base, though. It's like one of the greatest games ever made.
In ULA and does licensing with China.
This is such Grummz derangement syndrome.
He says he's going to go and be with.
Oh my fuck! Hearing people say Grummz derangement syndrome, like some kind of comparison with Trump, it's wild. One, I mean, he's not Donald Trump. Two, it's just, it feels to me, and I could be wrong, that's just a deflection for criticism. Like, do you have to be pussyfoot around the way you criticize Mark? Again, I went all out there to criticize the development of Ember. And, you know, I did it as well as I could and as appropriately as I could to yell from the mountaintops that, hey, this guy that's a big name in gaming seems to be doing something shady. And at that point, he could have put some effort in to fix that, but he doubled down. He's accused me of lying without stating one lie that I've said. And it's just wild to me. This, again, the mess he is in is a design of his own making and nobody else's. Yeah, he was an asshole and just blocked. Real ones know. Real ones know. I've given all these guys, anyone that's having a problem with me, an opportunity to chat. I'm a pretty reasonable guy. The folks that, you know, come to my streams regularly, and I'm not streaming every night for 6 hours or anything like that, because I value my time. I like sitting on my sofa playing video games. I've been watching a new show, what's it called? Supernatural or something? Just kidding, I know it's not new, but it's new to me, and I'm in season 2, and I'm really enjoying it. So, you know, I've been doing this long enough that people know me pretty well. And I've done enough live streams, you know. I'm a pretty chill dude.
With some family, so I don't blame him. Like, that was a very hard process, even if he was apparently a bit of a shithead. Look, no one's spoken about him in a good light at Blizzard, really. Like, not in a way
That's
that I
not
think
true.
a team lead should.
Look, pause right there.
In this.
Pause right there. I'll tell you what's shit. Jason Schreier wrote a history of Blizzard book, and he completely erased me from the book because he hates me, because he's a shithead. He's a legacy media shithead. I was the team lead. I saved the project from cancellation. I built the team. I led the team. And if you want the real history, don't buy Jason's book. Buy The WoW Diaries by Jason, by John Stutz. And it's on Amazon. It's a beautiful coffee table book. And what John asked me at the beginning of WoW development is, can I keep a diary daily of the development of WoW? And I said, sure, why not? And so he wrote down exactly what happened every day. And this book is a recollection of that, and it's approved by Blizzard, unlike Jason's book, which is not approved by Blizzard. So if you want to go with a former Kotaku journalist who went out of his way to erase me from the critical part of Blizzard's history,
erasure?
You know, you can go do that. But if you want the truth, please visit my friend John Stott on Amazon.com and buy his book, The WoW Diaries, because it tells you day by day what actually happened.
I'm not impressed with this so far. This is fucking weak.
Again, almost 300,000 views, and the sentiment from it seemed very positive. I don't know how you can say it hasn't been. You look at the comments of it. Honestly, me exposing those piece of shit as grifters got you to change your own personal opinions about things. Hey, man, I get it. People are always growing, change, and evolving. We've had lots of conversations about that, Luke. That's awesome, man. We got to play some games soon. They shouldn't have brought him on. Well, they thought it was going to go different. They didn't know this video was going to be released.
This is bad.
Role. Very shortly afterwards, him and a few other Blizzard employees found Red 5 Studios. So he
with
obviously
porn
had
money.
friends who wanted to work with him, but he's not really mentioned in a lot of these retrospective books. It's real fascinating. June 15th, 2005, RussianCatfights.com is closed due to changes in U.S. law.
No.
And on August 18th, 2005, LatinaCatfights.com is closed.
What's it say here? He says, oh, this is funny. He says it's not true, but look at the screenshot. We apologize to our fans and customers, but due to recent changes in U.S. law, we're forced to close the site.
No, I just got tired of it. And
I don't want to point out that this is anything egregiously sinister. This was a change.
Thank you for finally saying this 18 and 55 minutes.
It's true.
No, there was no change in law that forces the change. It just wasn't making any money compared to the anime. The anime was making so much.
But legit, I mean, am I going crazy? Did they totally miss that? Apologize to or something in consumers, fans and consumers, but due to recent changes in U.S. law, we are forced to close the site.
No. And on August 18th, 2005, Latina Catfights.com was closed.
Same thing.
No, I just got tired of it. And
I don't want to point out.
That's like a hook, line, and sinker thing, though, is it? He's confirmed that it's his sites. He has confirmed that they closed, but he says he also, I mean, at least the text on the site says because of recent changes in U.S. law, but his answer is, I just got sick of it.
That this is anything egregiously sinister. This was a change.
Thank you for finally saying this. 18 and 55 minutes.
Is true. No, there was no change in law that forces the change. It just wasn't making any money compared to the anime.
That's why
the anime was making so much more money, and this was completely outsourced. And we had IDs for everything because IDs are required by the payment gateways, right? And so we closed those sites because they weren't profitable.
Oh, he's at 4,949 views so far.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, he's going to ask me at the beginning of WoW development is, can I keep a diary daily?
No. And on August 18th, 2005, Latina Catfights.com was closed.
No, I just got tired of it. And
I don't want to point out that this is anything egregiously sinister. This was a change.
Thank you for finally saying this. 18 and 55 minutes.
He's like, no, I just got bored.
No, there was no change in law that forces the change. It just wasn't making any money compared to the anime. The anime was making so much more money, and this was completely outsourced. And we had IDs for everything because IDs are required by the payment gateways, right? And so we closed those sites because they weren't profitable.
Oh, he's at 4,949 views so far.
Really?
Yeah. Well, he's going to get a lot of views on this.
Well, it's got a shit ton of likes and retweets already, and I'm like, what? Is it getting botted like in an hour? I'm not...
Well, that Twitter account, whatever Waka or whatever it was, has like almost 30,000 followers.
Real people?
I don't know. I don't know. But to be fair, all of us on X have bots. Like the bots bot heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Snuggle Struggle for 20 says, if this dude wishes to cover something of actual importance, start here. Inquire about back rate floating debt that many investment firms are bundling in order to sell pension funds. Intent is readily found if you dig.
I appreciate the 20, but that sounds like a financial snooze fest for this audience. I'm sorry. I don't even know what that means.
I think what they're saying is this is a non-story. If you want to actually get a got you, there is a much bigger deal.
I understand now. That this is less exciting than boring financial news. Okay.
To be that you were involved in porn in some way, or is it?
Hold on.
Thank you.
All right, let's skip 22 minutes in. This is apparently where the juice is, and then we're getting pretty close to the end. But real quick, I got to take a piss.
That's why I have to go too. My bad.
Acquired himself 50 grand.
I'll be back.
Also, you guys are going to talk about waifus?
Yeah, you better go find out what your waifu wants. She probably wants to get off the stream.
No.
That's right. She's in Australia with Rhino. I forgot.
That's it.
Okay, so hit the play
I got to go with Rose from Legend of Dragoon.
What is going on here? Why are we just staring at a
screen? Flash said he had to go to the bathroom.
He should have played first, jerk.
He probably wanted to watch it himself.
Oh yeah, they definitely skipped some stuff.
But anyways, so more about me, I guess. So what's this information that Alyssa was posting about me, Grummz? Bueller? Did Grummz go to the bathroom too?
Yeah, I think everybody did.
The bathroom at the same time.
Yeah,
it's a long stream.
Like we could watch the rest of this entire video.
What fucking money, man? There is no fucking money, man.
Evidential accusation of anything that's fucking. I don't know. Maybe giving the guy the benefit of the doubt. Maybe if we watch the whole thing, but I just don't feel like we're going to get there.
It's just really not. It's not very well put together for what you're trying to prove.
I 100% agree.
The first 13 minutes are nonsense. Kind of
the algorithm's loving it though. Holy shit.
Insulting nonsense. You really should, if you're trying to push this on him so hard, you should be a little bit more serious rather than.
Did you wire yourself 50 grand from a failing game studio, Grummz? Yes or no?
I think he went to the bathroom.
Again?
I don't know. He's not here.
He's been drinking too.
Oh.
I'm back.
Did you wire yourself 50 grand from a failing game studio?
No.
Okay, well, they don't have any receipts on this on button 2.
Yeah, so I'm going to take your word for it because they're not really showing anything to say that you fucking did.
To start what company?
Exactly.
You really should have the receipt right here on the right-hand corner, sir.
They likely do.
You're gonna. That's a pretty big accusation. You're talking about fraud.
What studio to what studio? Because that never happened.
Well, it doesn't say.
Well, that's a pretty big claim.
Diego Garcia for 20 says, honestly, no offense, but I feel like Tom right now, and this is the
wait a
most
second.
boring part of the stream because this video looks nuts.
It is so fucking boring. I never had a nonprofit. What nonprofit are they talking about?
And my feelings towards Grummz are neutral. He says neural, but I'm guessing he's meant neutral. So sorry for the negative super. Hey, brother, I'll take whatever super chat you send.
Let's get to the
positive.
meat.
Don't matter to me. I appreciate it either way. Thank you.
Let's get to the meat where I got them, where they admitted to a crime.
Yeah, this is nothing to do with Grummz. That's
hold
the
on.
thing.
Let me just
It's
get
nothing against Grummz at
firewall.
all.
Enters open beta.
Holy shit.
Grummz announces
There's nothing
that
to do with Grummz
this
because
is fucking it.
I
I'm
am
now
Gamergate. And I'm proud of it.
Sexa Labs.
Yes.
I'm rating Rhino. And I'm
Yeah, we're skimming through it now, Tom. What's the idea of creating an online cat fight game? Okay,
Let's
so
do
back
it.
in
Rumble
porno.
Roses. Rumble Roses, but with waifus.
Mark's wife disappears.
Yeah, I'm more
on social
interested.
media.
Hold on. I never had a nonprofit. That was League for Gamers. It said Red 5 Studios, but this was all Mark. That was. I think that's what they're referring to as the nonprofit.
This idea
is good.
Of,
Should tell her to stay off of social
video
media.
game.
To be fair,
Let's-
Grummz.
Yeah,
Let's talk about making a
She
porn
has
video
no
game.
interest of it. I showed her the leak. Look, they found my wife's social media. They posted pictures of my kids and of my pets. And when they posted pictures of my pets, they made vague fucking threats. And
I've never seen Mark's kids. I've never made an effort to look them up. I don't even think I've seen his wife. So maybe some people have.
And Alyssa retweeted this shit. And Airbag retweeted this shit. What did they mean by that? What was the purpose of that? Explain to me.
I have a question, Grummz.
Yeah.
In this whole thing, you know, I assume you're gonna like sue people and stuff and whatever.
Oh, no. You'll see. This is beyond a lawsuit. This is criminal.
Okay. Well, anyway. So like this whole thing that's happening, does this include people like Alyssa and the airbag guy in that thing, or
No, they were not operatives in this video. I want to point that out. But they were in the private Discord, which was tagged and paid for $10 a month.
Private Discord, again, public Discord, over 5,000 people in it.
And they were gleeful for this and waiting for this to drop.
I was gleeful. Lots of the internet were gleeful. Fuck this guy. Be gleeful. Be joyful. Be happy.
Their heads, but they were not the perpetrators of this.
okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Mr. Burger for 20 says Flash Big Night for super chats. I know you've been drinking.
Need to do this, and so he did. A couple years later, they did WoW Classic, and it went out great.
Something about Foxy Fighter. You never denied Foxy Fighter.
Nope.
More Foxy Fighter.
Yeah, I ran Foxy Fighter, and I
we
made a
see
lot of
red
money.
accessories. I don't even know what this is. What is red?
Okay,
accessories?
so here's the thing I got. This is so fucking boring. Look, so one of the things I was criticized at Red 5 was buying red cameras, which was filmed with, when Peter Jackson went to The Hobbit and stuff, he switched to red digital cameras. They were 4K resolution. And I said, we're going to start a YouTube and Twitch channel. We're going to film everything in 4K because one day 4K is the future and we want all our archive footage to be 4K. So we spent the money, we bought the cameras, we filmed all of it.
Didn't spend the money to get the game going, though, or didn't have the time, didn't do it right, because Firefall never came out of beta.
I was attacked incessantly for it. I was said, people told me in my own company, 4K, no one can ever see 4K resolution. It is a waste of money. Nobody ever cares about this stuff. And of course, we know now that was not true.
Now it talks about your Ember, which I've already heard you talk about that.
Yeah, I've been pulling 10 to 12 hour days on Ember the past 3 or 4 days, so I might be a little loopy, but we have a new build out. We have revitalized the game. There was a pause because of COVID and because my kids went through a lot of shit and I had to give them 100% of my time for their health. But our backers are happy now. Did you know that they sent
100%? I mean, I'm glad they're all right. That's it. It's tough to buy. I mean, imagine that happened to you in your job, that you were still fundraising and crowdfunding, and then you don't say anything about it till 2 years later when you get called out, subscriptions start going down, people are seeing no progress. When you could have been proactive about and say, you know what, let's pause. I've refunded the patrons. Nothing's really getting done right now. let's start back up in a few, like, you know, we're going to get this started back up, but we do need to come to a pause. Please understand. That would have been, in my opinion, the honorable path to take versus continuing to crowdfund for a few years while not making progress on it. That's... And, you know, Mark's answer to that, because he has been asked about it, is like, yeah, maybe, you know, I would have done it differently. But, man, it's always when you get caught, though. It's always when you get caught around how much has been crowdfunded, getting defensive around the accusations, accusing people of lying when there isn't any lies, when you're not able to really point to any.
The lefties, they sent over 1,300 accounts into Radar Discord in order to pretend to be backers and to sow discontent. And once I ejected them, the backers have been very happy that they're gone and we can talk about the game again.
Funny enough, I've never said anything in the Discord. I've kept an eye on it. The backers I have reported on, not saying I can't get fooled, but I can say that I've had great one-on-one conversations with them and I have confirmed that the numerous ones that I have talked to are legit. Are there some that probably weren't? Yeah, 100%. But if you go to my videos, the backers I refer to is like, you know, this person was backing for years. Or the person threatening a class action lawsuit against Grummz, that's a real backer. Aaron, who's active on Twitter, that's a real backer. A gentleman called, I can't pronounce it, Leandre on X, I don't think he's still a backer. Chaz, he's a backer. Like, I can name numerous ones off from memory that I know are legitimate backers. Were there some people poisoning the well in there? For sure. I'm sure Grummz thinks I did. I'll tell you, this is a funny story. Is that, you know, Grummz called me a pussy. So, I found out that, you know, he was going to have some people in. I think he was getting footage or something. I just started playing Ember then, so I jumped in when he was in there. I was hoping it was PvP, but I was unable to shoot him. But I got some good shots, like, within the crosshairs and stuff. But, you know, I jumped around, you know, got into the girl and the guy model and messed around. But he was pissed about that. But again, don't be an asshole to me and call me a pussy, I guess. Oh, yeah, they skipped it. They're manufacturing it.
Lunar Ride, Mark's not getting any of this money. It all goes to me.
What? I think they should have ever gone that way. And when I talked to Mike about Classic, the CEO...
who cares about that?
Can you zoom in a little bit, Flash?
Let's see the document here.
Or is it? Oh, yeah, there we go.
So the people who made this video are now charging $10
Is this what you want this pulled up? Or
yeah,
okay.
Sure, that's fine.
Let's go right here.
I'm just going in the order. They're now charging $10 a month for access to dirt on Grummz, right?
So they may have done that. I don't know. But that would have been like super, super recent. Everyone else that was in there didn't cost anything and anyone could join.
Right? And they have an entire locked thread about Grummz where they coordinate ops, not just about me, but against Smash JT and against all of you guys, because what they're actually trying to do
is they're
trying to take me down first.
Smash?
Because will you guys admit it? I'm tanking for you guys. I'm taking all the hate. I'm taking all the
absolutely.
attacks.
You've been taking quite a bit of heat from everything, and every chance they get, they try to pour on you. And I'm not gonna play defense and pretend that you're perfect. You fuck up just like a lot of other people.
Sure.
The amount of times I've heard Smash say not to defend Grummz, not to play defense, and then full on go on defending him for 10 minutes or so is wild. I'm not defending Grummz. Proceeds to defend Grummz.
Myself, nobody's perfect, but I do see this as something where they are using you as the top dog to try to take down, and then already set up what they're doing next after it. Like, it is literally like a digital battleground for them with what they're doing.
Yeah, and they do this because I'm really, really good at what I do. I'm really good at tweeting. All right, and I have, and here's what
they do this because you're really good at tweeting. The only is Grummz cuck. You got a couple MVP plays, nice. And we're going to take a look at some
what
of the
they're
responses.
afraid of. I have the ear of the highest levels of government. They know that Elon follows me. They know that Elon subscribes to me. They know that Elon agrees with me. And that's why they want to take me down first. But they make no bones about the fact that after they take me down, quote unquote, which they won't, that they are going to go after you next, Smash. And because they see you as the next greatest threat. So in this document, I documented everything that GigaBear reported to me, and many props to GigaBear, who's one of my backers for the Ember site. We had a falling out, but we came to an understanding, and we united against the fact that we want to fight the woke mind virus. So they started, look, there are 2 Discords that have threads devoted to me. One is this Kabuki thing. The other is Airbagged. And if you guys don't know Airbagged is a guy who was arrested for destroying property during the Antifa riots. He is definitely
During the Antifa
leftist,
riots?
right? And what they did was illegal, absolutely illegal.
He's so
And
mad.
what they did was they went to the dark web and they found plain word passwords and emails that associated me with the Debbie Chan account, right? And the Foxy Fighter account. And they kicked off a giant thread where they crowdsourced people trying to find dirt on me. And what I have here is a bunch of their explicit tweets. So you have to pay $10 a month for this. They monetize this. They said if you want to see,
But
the
yet
dirt,
they call all of us grifters.
you got to pay $10 a month.
Classic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's kind of sad.
Well, they're the whole rules for thee, not for me crowd.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And if you scroll down, you'll see the first tweet, or rather Discord message.
Is it right here?
Where there is a user called Thief Pal who says that he has friends who are hackers that have information with plain text,
Okay, what is
emails, and
So I went through a single pass looking for Grummz. Turned up an email address. Search again for an email address. Eventually they got 3 or 4. So is this how it works? Is it like reverse engineering? So through these sites, this Pwn database, because I don't think it's the dark web, as far as I know, it finds an email address and then 3 to 4 email logins with a few associated passwords. So it must have been like username and password link, which I don't think they logged into anything. Nothing that's indicated to me anyway. Now at this stage, if people have enough unique passwords that they reuse between accounts, you can go back and search for totally unrelated account names using the password. Okay. So it finds, that 2 or 3 accounts or 3 or 4 different accounts have the same password. You can do a search parameter with that password.
and passwords that he was bored one day that he would correlate with my other accounts. Now, this is 20 years ago. I didn't know shit about OPSEC 20 years ago. Now I have unique passwords and everything. I shared passwords back then, so I'm not denying this. And he found the Foxy Fighter account, right? And this kicks off a big thread that everybody starts contributing to. And
I don't think I said a word in it. I didn't know it was happening until heard there was a scoop, to be honest. That's when I heard about it.
The damning fact is that there are a couple things. There's the first message by Spew, if you scroll down. Spew is someone who pretended to be a backer of my game, but was actually concerned trolling and trying to stir up trouble in my Discord. And by the way, once I ejected all of them, my backers were very happy. And
except the backers that he already ejected.
You know, I don't know if you can zoom into that.
Hold on.
He's going to get mad, though.
There you go.
Yeah. So he goes to the dark web. Where's the... Look, it is... You can... This is a database of names and passwords.
Okay, to pause there, when he says goes to the dark web, and if you're just joining, by the way, if you forgot to, make sure to like the stream. Helps out big time. Now, this is kind of a difference of opinion that I see, is he's saying the dark web, but isn't the dark web a very specific thing? Like, is this Pwn database on the dark web, or is it on the light web? I don't fucking know, the regular web.
And this is something that's only found on the dark web. You cannot publish this stuff in the regular internet without it being a federal crime. And he went ahead and did so. And this is where they discovered the connection to my other company, that did the really cool anime hentai wrestling porn that I know you guys want me to make a game of when I get time. All right.
When you get time.
And he started publishing this, and at that point, they
in
locked.
the end, we can hear you clicking.
Oh, sorry, that's
not me.
Oh,
And-
It was me. It was me. Sorry.
sorry, D-Man. I owe you an apology.
Wow. I'm kidding. It's fine.
And at this point, they locked the thread and paywall it, so you had to pay $10 a month in order to access it. And I have to give credit to GigaBear for subbing to their Discord in order to get access. So he found all this information. And what happens is that they know they have a problem. B, who is Washer Crack on X, who is an enemy of Smash JT and myself, admits to proving that it's tough to prove a correlation unless they post my password in order to connect the information. So this whole story, the video that you saw, that they corroborated this through, they lied. They said they used some other site to find this information. What they actually did was they went to hackers and they doxed me through illegal federal means.
So I went through a single pass looking for Grummz. They turned up an email address and search again. What this is saying doesn't match up with what he's saying unless I'm misunderstanding it. Yeah, it says this is all publicly available information. Yeah, seems like it.
In order to extract the plain word passwords and to use that to search for other accounts that had that. Now, I am much better on OPSEC than this. This was 20 years ago when it wasn't a concern, all right? And these days, I have unique passwords and everything. But they went ahead and did this. Now, for those of you who don't know Washer Crack is a Smash, how would you put it?
An Alyssa Mercante simp / potential alt account.
Yes, exactly. So it's the same names over and over again. So this is the woke mafia.
Here's something that's wild. If someone even advocates, not even advocates for Alyssa, but it's like doesn't disagree with her, people are like, you're a simp of her. But these guys are simping for each other. I don't think I've seen such simpery between Smash and Grummz since maybe Tommy Tallarico, but...
Trying to destroy people, and they went ahead.
The infamous hacker known as 4chan. What, Demi? That's wild.
And they went and participated in a federal violation of law. So what Washer Crack did is they admitted to providing the plain text email and password on the Discord channel, and that is a crime. You can't look. There are data breaches all the time, and security researchers do this to find vulnerabilities and everything else. But when it is done for a malicious purchase, and when you are actually posting the email and the password in plain text, not encrypted, you are in violation of a federal crime, especially if your intent is to cause harm or defamation to the target, which is me in this case. So she is caught, or he is caught, red-handed in this. So they were going onto the dark web. They were getting leaked password and email information, and they were collaborating this in order to connect me to the company, which I wish to remain private for my kids, by the way, who have to deal with this shit now. And in order...
That was awkward. So he wanted to keep private for his kids. He didn't want his kids to know that he was doing this, so I'm sure that is frustrating. Also, consideration that he is a public figure. So he's talking about defaming. The threshold for that is quite a bit higher.
To harm me for whatever reason. What reason? Because I tweet about video games. So that is, on its face, is a crime. So if you scroll down, you can see where they actually post the email and plain text password of one of my accounts, which is a crime. You cannot host or publish this information unless you are a security researcher and you are doing it in encrypted form. So, who did this? This is Washer Crack. This is a moderator for the Kabuki stream. And under the RICO statute, this is a conspiracy to
What?
create harm and violate the law in order to do so. They are all guilty. And
oh my God. I can't even. The RICO stuff. And they're all guilty. I'm like, calm down, Judge Judy. It'll be all right. All guilty.
I fully intend to file an FBI report and to prosecute these people for this. Now, I have nothing to hide. I have told you guys everything that, we've done here, everything I've done with the, adult content and everything else. Why are they doing this? Ask yourselves why. Because I tweet about video games? So
That's
there,
what the super chat says. Snuggle struggle for 20. I disagree with you, Grummz. I earnestly do not believe they're going after you because you have the ear of Musk. I admit your footprint is large, so that may be a reason, but the primary factor is that you outed SBI.
Yeah, I think they're pissed about that. That's not untrue.
I did too, because Sweet Baby Inc. was a pretty big. I mean, it wasn't just Sweet Baby Inc.
It's not outing SBI. Grummz can have his opinion, but it's often his disingenuous editorializing that I'm sure is frustrating to people. Again, if this guy hasn't been involved in so many shenanigans, I would probably be talking about him a lot less. But he's, I've investigated his crowdfunding. He said some pretty rough things to me. He's tweeted out that I've broken the law. Those are pretty definitive statements. Often could be considered slanderous or, if written, defamatory, if I'm getting that right. So I'm not going to be too easy on him, but I'm going to be objective.
Inc. It also kind of exposed that entire grift that they've been doing with DEI and gaming and consulting. I mean, so that whole door got opened up.
Absolutely. So that, I joined the culture war for a second time after Gamergate 1 because Kabrutus was
I hope he got veterans benefits after Gamergate 1.
Targeted. And if you look at that recent post, if you scroll up.
That's from her?
Yeah, by Washer Crack, who is B, who is a moderator for Kabuki. All right? Moderator. And you're wondering, well, is a moderator going to be liable for the actions of the whole? Yes, under the RICO Racketeering Act, everyone can be held accountable for this, for encouraging it. She pasted the plain text credentials of my email and password. That is a crime. You cannot do that. Especially.
So do you know who this B person is, like real life name and stuff?
I do not. I know it's Washer Crack, and that's all I know. But that's for the FBI to figure out. Okay. Because I am definitely
like she
reporting
washes her crack, though.
People speculate that Washer Crack is Alyssa's alt, but but that's not. I don't know if that's true. And
She doesn't look like she washes her crack though either. To be fair.
And so, and then you can see in the next tweet, if you scroll down, that they have. So look, it's a crime to post plain text, emails, and passwords, right? And they went ahead, and this guy who was on your stream, this MLYP asshole, pastes my plain text word password again. Again, violating the law. You can't post people's passwords, especially if your intent is to malign or disparage an individual. And it goes on from there. But you can see that this channel, this Kabuki face channel, they are absolutely a channel intent on defaming and taking down anyone they can through legal or illegal means. So you may ask yourself, who is a part of this channel?
5,000 people?
Who is a part of this channel? Would you be surprised if I told you it was Alyssa Mercante?
No way.
Imagine my shock.
Imagine your shock, Jeff. Would I be surprised if I told you?
I'd be surprised if you told me she was not there. I'd be like, oh, that's shocking.
Would you be surprised if I told you it was Nick Calandra?
No, I'm not shocked.
Really?
Like Nick Caldera, yeah.
You know the funny thing about Nick Calandra is I haven't talked about him in it feels like over a year. Like it feels like forever. But I have ears everywhere. They're always like, he's always talking about you and he hates you so much. I'm like, dude, move the fuck on.
Dude, so what this is, this Discord, and by the way, they locked this channel under $10 a month. You gotta pay $10 to access it.
They may have, again, recently, but to the best of my understanding, it was always available to anyone that joined the Discord, and it didn't cost a cent.
And God bless Giga for paying the $10 to access it, because prior to the drop, he was in there, and they're trying to monetize this for Grift, and that's what I believe. And not only is Nick and Alyssa in there, Nick from Second Wind, and Nick is in there and he's venting everything that he can't say in public because they told him he couldn't say shit because they dropped so many subscribers and they were losing revenue. He's in there talking about. But McDizzle is in there too. And Airbagged is in there too. Now, they are not directly part of this ops to get Grummz,
You're right about
but
that.
they are certainly in there cheering it on.
I don't think I was. I don't think you can find anything about me in there regarding this. I chatted in there before, but it was well before this.
Mute that McDizzle guy.
Oh,
And fucking tagging me on nonsense.
What have I ever tagged him on? I think I've tagged him on one thing. Hold on. I'm going to search. What have I tagged? What the fuck's this guy's name? Yellow Flash guy? Let me just get his name. I'm just doing a search on Twitter. Oh, hold on. 2 of these accounts. Maybe I haven't said anything to him. Hold on. I had my thing all in capitals. From Dizzle17. 2 of these accounts. Yellow Flash guy. I thought I did one thing. Hold on. I kept tagging him and stuff. Nothing. No, I haven't.
And
who is that? I forgot who that is. I don't know who that is.
He's the guy that impersonated the Ubisoft developer and fooled me with the story.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely forgot. I forgot that person existed. Okay, you go on. My bad.
So they use hacked information from the
and
dark
baby
web
on.
in order to associate these accounts. But what is more damning is that their Discord is hosting the plain text, unencrypted emails and passwords of my accounts. That is a crime. And I will be explaining that to the FBI very shortly. If they want to publish part 2 of their little expose, I welcome it, because that's just more information I can give to the FBI, and you guys are fucked. All right, so
Like, I honestly, I don't think they understand like the seriousness and the gravity of what they're doing right now. It's a very big deal. It's a very big deal just to flippantly be sharing someone's credentials in a group chat.
Oh, there's my chats. What do we got here? I leave with the direct link to the Google Drive. Any reason? Yeah. This was after my Grummz videos. Thanks for the feedback. I'm going to drop a destructive tweet and never respond to him again. Well, I failed on that because I responded to him again. Local man talks in a Discord. Back in September. I've talked since then.
Authorized is wild to me.
yeah, I mean,
Oh, there he is. Oh, he's talking shit about Craig. He's talking
yeah,
Craig.
yeah. So there are other people in that private channel locked behind.
That wasn't a private channel. Again, all public. 5,000 people. Giga Bear could go right in there, and I have no problem saying the same thing to him.
$10 a month and now locked to certain individuals. And definitely Nick Caldera is one from Second Wind, and he's talking shit about Craig here.
Funny.
Smash had a video pretty much talking shit about Craig, but he deleted it or privated it.
This part about that is Stutter and Craig like platformed Nick and had a conversation with him and tried his best to be as impartial as possible.
Yeah.
And Nick is
That's
like,
true.
Is that what they call it?
just it's crazy to me.
I saw that
It's crazy.
interview.
So wait, so I
Oh,
just
wait,
want to
go
make
back
sure I
to that
understand.
one
So is Nick
There she is.
Calandra then like cooked in this sense?
No, he's just watching and he's commenting on other things.
But this one is wild. This was sent to me earlier today, and I forwarded it to Ron immediately. And he found it quite interesting. But Alyssa Mercante said, "Hi, hello, people.
I may need some info help for reasons in italics
This
regarding
is a doxing server.
100% regarding Jeff Smash JT.
By the way, that's against Discord's terms of service.
Oh, absolutely. I'm taking them down on Discord. I'm taking them down on YouTube, and I'm taking them down on Patreon, and I'm reporting them to the FBI. I am fucking done.
Look at the 6 people with the salutes too.
It's against Patreon service too. Yes, absolutely. You can't do that kind of shit and have Patreon.
It's 100% coded language. They know exactly what this is. If anyone has any info, she thinks she's being so coy. It's like, what? Why would you want information about my previous employment? Why? Like, what does that have to do with anything at all? And you're suing me, by the way. You're suing. What does my previous employment have anything to do with your current lawsuit against me? If anything, I would look at this as additional harassment again. Coming from the person that's been claiming to be the harassed one.
Look, she is in a channel devoted to cyber stalking and harassing and running ups against people on social media. And she is a part of that, and she is targeting you.
But this is like ironic how we watched a video with literally no information or any gotcha anywhere. And then we're looking at this stuff, which is far more of a gotcha on a lot of people, especially Alyssa. That just by writing this, it implicates her to wanting to continue to harass me after contacting my wife, trying to disrupt my marriage, trying to get my wife, my website taken down, cheering on my website being taken down, trying to have my credentials taken away from San Diego Comic-Con. I mean, I could go down this list about the things she's tried to ruin my life with. And here she goes trying to dig into my history of work history. Like, what the fuck, bitch? Leave me alone. Go away. You are psycho.
If you are
jealous of your money.
Look, she's claiming she's a victim of harassment, but she's trying to dig up everything she can on you to harass you. And this is a Discord channel that you have to pay $10 a month for in order to get dirt and cyberstalk individuals.
That's, again, I don't know what they did for a few days. I think they did do something with the Patreon, but that was like probably the last 2 days. There was over 5,000 people in there that could join anytime. It's wild.
Visuals. I think that's very interesting in regards to the lawsuit.
What else we got going on here?
Oh, the other thing too is I think, from what I've gathered, I think Alyssa realizes that she has no case, and she's starting to really press right now. But I'll leave it at that because she seems very desperate to find other targets and find other things. She won't stop. She won't stop.
Yeah, ruining lives. I mean, I know a few people that have had to go in private because they've been featured in videos in this angry audience, and maybe I'm missing it. I don't hear Smash saying, don't say anything to this person. Don't give them a hard time. Don't message them. We're just kind of going over this. There's no need to tweet at them or mass attack them. I don't really hear that from him. I think he said it on a recent video, though. Someone told me about the Grummz stuff, like, don't harass Grummz. I don't know if he said that, though.
No, she won't. And neither will any of them else. And from what I've documented here, from everything they've done to me for the past 12 months, they will do to you next. And that is the way they operate.
Is Smash crowdfunding a game? I don't think so.
They're not good people. These are people who will cross any line, even legal lines, in order.
Yeah, she does go by that classic. But they're taking it so personally, like it's an affront to them. So my problems individually, if I go through each of these people, I don't know Yellow Flash Guy at all. I really don't. I don't know Rhino. I don't know Tom. Smash JT, I have problems with his reporting. So do other people. I'm not unique in that. Went through an activity to demonstrate that, and it was a unique social experiment, that's for sure. And it told us a lot about how people will just run with whatever they're given. I have problems with Grummz, obviously. We've had a lot of downs, no real ups. I can't say there's ups and downs, but I don't appreciate being told I'm lying, especially when not proving any examples. That gets in, again, slanderous territory, which isn't cool. So, again, he can say he doesn't like me. He can get mad at me for being in a Discord that didn't like him. And if anything showed us, a lot of people aren't fans of Grummz. I mean, you had someone, look at that last video. That man hated him. I've never hated Grummz, I guess, through this. I've been pretty pissed off, but hate's a strong word. And I'm a pretty chill guy. No need to, waste your life on hate. pursuing truth and pursuing facts and trying to improve things for people. One of the reasons I do talk about Grummz and Ember is that this has hurt crowdfunding. It really has. There are numerous comments from people saying they'll never crowdfund again because of their experience with Ember. You can find it in the Nexus Drop Discord. I believe you can find it on the Ember Reddit. And these are old comments. These aren't coming from the supposed hate mob. Yeah, he's lied to them at least 2 times.
To try to fabricate stuff against you in order to get you silent.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and my concern is it's not going to stop until something really bad happens. And I'm really concerned about that for me and my family, for you and your family. Like, it's very scary. You remember how Gamergate 1 kind of came to a pause when something very serious happened. And it's like, this is starting to go down that road right now where these people don't know when to stop. And it's very, very scary.
Yeah.
It's blame. And you know what? Let's be real. It takes 2 to tango. It really does. Both sides of conflict will often blame each other. But you got to take a step back. Have conversations. Have common ground. The difference is, though, a lot, like at least 2 of these folks, Smash and Endymion, rely on this type of stuff for content. Conversations don't really help that. Looking like they got owned really doesn't help that. And I do think there are people that can have conversations, but they just want to tell their narratives. They want to tell their stories. And sometimes they're so absurd and so out there that there's going to be lots of questions. There's going to be, yeah, I mean, that's bullshit, or that's a bullshit take, or that's a stupid take. Absolutely. Not great for the gaming community. Like, I don't think so. I'm not going to take them out. That's not my goal. I want to correct stupid shit when I think it's stupid shit, like I did with the Concord stuff. I put out a video that was very thorough, addressed the things that I thought that Smash got really wrong that actually impacted someone's life quite a bit. So much that other developers reached out to me and said, hey, this is bullshit from Firewalk. So yeah, I got big concerns about that when it impacts someone's life. I got to feel it when I had all the baby smashers coming after me. I had piles of comments and tweets that died down after about like a week or so. It wasn't anything too wild, but it does suck. It's not a good time. Who likes that? That's just my problem with them. I hope they learn, they grow. And each of these people are different people. I'm not going to be like Smash is the same person as Grummz. I think he way too strongly advocates for him. He recently put out a tweet being like, yeah, hold on. You know, let's pause here for a sec. I'm going to bring this up. This is the first time, and I've never watched much of Smash's content. I've gotten clips sent to me, or if I've had to investigate, like my Concord video. And hold on, I'm trying to see what he says about, I saw it earlier. It was one of those, I'm not defending Grummz, but I'm kind of defending Grummz. Grummz needs to finish his game. Well, at least he's saying that now, because I have some examples to the contrary where it pretty much disparaged my reporting on it. I'm not a fan of how long it's taken. I think it's bullshit to take money from people and not follow through on promises. That's nice to hear. Of course, there's always a but, though. That said, it's not but pretty much. That said, I do not condone attacking someone's personal life over it. Yeah. I mean, in theory, that sounds good. These accusations your buddies has levied against him, I think it's this guy from Western Kabuki, have ultimately, ironically, hurt whatever goal you had in mind. But it's like the same story. Hold on. You know, and this is why I've made videos, because there's so much bullshit.
Winning so hard.
My goal is to educate. Just hinging that kid. These are these guys.
He did after he found success with that, bro. He pulled.
You want to see what these guys' initial reaction to my reporting was?
Investigation of Grummz. Have you seen his video about EM8ER being a scam? And what do you think of Grummz demanding McDizzle's name and address before talking? So in
Didn't
all
you
actuality,
already answer this? I feel like you got this question like a week ago. Was that something?
no, I don't think so. I don't think so. I did watch McDizzle's video. I thought it was very well made. Grummz, I actually DM'd Grummz about it, and he sent me some information. But ultimately, Grummz is responsible for what he does with EMADR.
Thanks for the compliment, man. Glad you enjoyed this. So taking a look at this to see what Smash's reaction to my Ember videos were. The video. Kind of weird though, man. If you watch the video, you think you know it'd be called Ember. But why isn't he jumping in to defend Ember like he did in April? I mean, bro hates me. If he had something, he would say it. And, well, I should mention this, like he was defending... Hypnotic in this case was defending another woke journalist attacks Grummz. Grummz is a fraud. And he could say it's not defending. You watch the video, you make your own judgment if you want. Just on his own website.
That it's just a bad, like I have
destroy him. And I'm like,
oh, hold on.
Fucking AAA studio move. This man put out the definitive edition of the same video that he uploaded beforehand. So this
it was the same video. Look at the lengths of them. But I did put a good AAA joke in there. It did cover similar things with updates as well as up-to-date information. I think that was when Grummz freaked out and called me a pussy. So I had to kind of capture that. And I wanted to make sure one-stop shopping on it.
And sold you Grummz DLC because he knew that it was getting him the clicks and attention he's been so desperate to have.
That is pretty funny, and I'm glad he got a bit of a joke. Although he's not correct, it's not the exact same video. It does include the initial allegations, but it also includes Grumm's response and my response back to him.
And I'm like, you are literally targeting this one person and being like, destroy him. And I'm like,
he's using the aspect. Listen, Kickstarter is I have never and will never invest in a Kickstarter. I already know.
Man, it's not even on Kickstarter. What are y'all talking about? It's just on his own website.
That it's just a bad, like I have.
Hold on.
It's the whole thing.
Know enough about it? Get out of here.
It's like.
But why isn't he jumping into
about it? And he sent me some information, but ultimately Grummz is responsible for what he does with EMADR.
Thanks for the compliment, man. Glad you enjoyed the video. Kind of weird though, man. If you watch the video, you think you know it'd be called Ember. But why isn't he jumping in to defend Ember like he did in April? I mean, bro hates me. If he had something, he would say it. And you'll see this pattern of vagueness and really attacking my character.
Concern with it is and this is not like to just be a blind Grummz defender because I do not know enough about it. I'll start with that.
I don't either.
Hypnotic says he doesn't know enough about it, but he knew enough about it in April to defend it? But with much more compelling evidence, you don't know enough about it? Get out of here. Well, there's numerous videos out there that lead to the same conclusion. Smash didn't even watch the video, so he's going to go with vibes.
But I'll say, like, I watched part of McDizzle's video. I didn't watch the whole thing because I was kind of turned off by it felt like he took the perspective of, I bought into this because it's a scam just to make this video to expose him. And I'm like, that it almost feels like you're like trying to find something to be mad about.
So Smash is going with vibes here versus logic. What do you want me to do, lie to people? He also seems to like talking about scams, so I'm surprised he didn't want to talk about this one. JK, I'm not surprised at all.
I know for a fact that what he's doing is simply because he knows that the attention he can get is by being anti-Grummz.
Yes.
I know, like as a YouTuber, he knows that. He knows that his claim to fame, granted, he's not really doing that well, even with the anti-Grummz stuff, but he the most attention he's ever gotten was talking about Grummz.
Man, he shouldn't assume so much. It makes an ass out of you and me, right? My Grummz videos are like my 30th most successful videos. Most of my channel growth has been attributed to Red Dead data mining, as well as money glitches and various other videos and topics.
And I'm gonna tell you like this, as a gamer, like he put out so my understanding is he put out a Grummz video, and you know what the first thing he did after he found success with that, bro? He pulled a fucking.
So yeah, that's kind of what Smash's thoughts were on. The amount of money later. I think there is one part of it though. It's kind of funny. If I can stated in mine or other people's videos.
I understand because
hold on. If he was giving me advice, he should consider following it himself.
In terms of, let me go back to Super Chat. I want to make sure I get everything through it. So yeah, I've seen the video. It being a scam, I don't view it as a scam. Again, if you want to,
the cope is permeating through his PNG hood. I mean, not surprising. He's been defending it since April.
Talk about moral ethics and stuff. We can have that conversation, I suppose. But in terms of scam, you need to be careful with that. And thinking of Grummz demanding McDizzle's name and address.
Thing I understand because
that was weird a little bit though.
I get it though, because if he wants to tell him like, hey, I feel like you're harassing me. I'd like some information on you if I'm going to give you anything, because I need to know if you start denigrating my name and making shit up about me, I would like to be able to sue you. I need to know information about you.
Out of all of us, Smash, only you are dealing with a lawsuit from what I understand. I don't think using backers' money to sue me is probably the best idea, nor does Grummz have a leg to stand on. I've given him plenty of opportunities to respond. I don't think Grummz has... Let's bring Grummz in our pod. I just wanted to go over that to kind of contrast that with Smash's position now, which seems a little bit different. You know, it went from pretty much disparaging me to, you know, Grummz needs to finish his game. Well, that's good. That's good. I'm glad you enjoyed my research, man. But this is the defense that everyone they're forced to make now. They don't want to have to, but they have to. But let's take a look at the reaction. I haven't done a good old Grummz search on YouTube recently uploaded. Johnny Somali going to jail. Grummz. I show speed. Oh, who's this person?
What's up, guys? Omni here. You guys know how it goes. Another day.
They're not small. See, the Assassin's Creed stuff's still so fresh. Oh, this was Smash's story from it. Not that all this wild stuff about Grummz. A listener Mercante caught using secret Discord server to harass me. Now, I have to look up the definition of harassment. But if you're in a Discord server asking questions about someone, is it harassment? I don't know. I don't know. Oh, that drama stuff is wild. I just like good conversations. See, most of this is still the Elon stuff. Grummz. Oh, I don't like typing this. Ugh. What's that? 8 years ago. Oh, this person was the porn star. And the upcoming Ember. 8 years ago. Eek. Ew. Okay, maybe not Grummz porn. Grummz scam? Oh, I didn't see how Hassan reacted to it. Some VTubers like, ooh. Trump's exposed immediate damage control. Hey! Oh, shit. A dose of Buckley is great. Oh my god. Who's this person? Kabuchi? Smash JT is mad game for nostalgic boomer. Ugh. Well, I don't know what that is, but that's kind of funny. Hey, it's my live stream. There's some out there. Maybe my search is good. That's yours, Demi? Run by evil vegans who fear meat and potatoes. It's awesome. What do we got here? So, yeah, all sorts of Grummz stuff going on. Well, what did we talk about tonight? We watched the video. We watched the reaction to it. At least, like, we missed parts of it, but we weren't sitting there for 4 hours. The clickbait titles. We heard his reaction. We heard the sentiment. It's a wild story. I'm looking forward to part 2. I'm thinking of it in relation to Ember. I'm not going to go after Grummz really hard for Ember. I've told the story. I'm going to continue reporting on it. There's going to be updates to the situation, things like that. And no one should be able to stop me from reporting that. And that's one thing that these guys, and it's funny, ironically, they say they're trying to, or they think people are trying to silence them. Maybe that's something we have in common, because I feel like they're trying to silence me by trying to shoot down my credibility based on my research. And, you know, why should I worry about what Smash thinks? He already thought I was a piece of shit before, it sounds like. He thinks I'm a piece of shit now. Grummz thought I was a piece of shit before. He thinks I'm a piece of shit now. So I don't really care what they think. I'm here to report out facts and truth. And this is a space that not many people have explored. Is, you know, calling out the things that you find wild and untrue and scandalous with the anti-woke community. So, and I want to look at it pretty damn humanely. Like that Concord video, I wasn't fucking around. I appreciate that, gazing. Yeah, everyone has their own videos. I'm doing my parts. I will still give him a hard time. And the thing that's tough is when he talks bullshit. You know, sometimes I'll just be like, whatever. But if he talks bullshit, lies, says shit about me, I am going to be saying shit back. Your channel's definitely not one for most people. A lot of old YouTube style. I'm going to check it out later. Most of those guys got maybe Synth would even dare say, but your shorts are from your stream. Okay. All right, folks. I'm going to get going because I want to snack and some crackers, have some laughs, but thank you for the membership upgrade. I appreciate that. Let me just get back up here. Sure, I didn't miss the chat here. I saw it there. But the super chat. Oh, yeah. Classic Monsters and Sci-Fi Fun. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for the upgrade. Joseph Soda, thank you for the super chats. Y'all are the best. We had a good time tonight. We'll try to do it maybe a little later this week. It's only Monday. But we'll have some laughs. And if you want to chat, you can find me on X. I do have a Discord server. You're welcome to join. I don't use it a whole lot. I mean, I do check it, but I'm not usually a big chatter. As you can probably see, the dirt that they showed on me was from what? September? And, you know, I wouldn't even call it dirt. It's shit I say in a public server. I'm not like 6,000 people. Keep it in mind, anything I'd say, anyone could share at any time. Go fucking crazy. All right. Have a good night. Appreciate y'all.